This pandemic year and on the weekend before Thanksgiving, we offer up gratitude for college football. The temporary diversion from our struggles helps keep hope alive for a better day. And what a diverted journey this has been for BYU. With the original schedule cropped by COVID, the Cougars reworked a game plan that landed them on national television Labor Day night, where they put on a show, nailing Navy 55-3. October's big test took them to Houston on a Friday night, where the nation watched Zach Wilson and company do it again, finishing the game with 29 unanswered points to win 43-26. November's challenge put them in Boise, where the country watched them hand the 21st-ranked Broncos their worst home defeat in 24 years, 51-17. Today, they stand 8-0, ranked 8th in the country, with a quarterback chasing a Heisman, a football team seeking a major bowl game, and a fan base just grateful that in 2020, on a Saturday afternoon, they can watch them play. It's BYU and North Alabama right now on BYU TV.
Touchdown, Cougars!
It is November 21st. There is sunshine everywhere. And North Alabama is in Provo to take on 8th-ranked BYU. Good afternoon, everybody. Alongside Blaine Fowler, I'm Dave McCann. We welcome you to Cougar Football on BYU TV. We've been together now for 30 years calling these games. This one's a little different because of the potential BYU has ahead of it, ranked number 8 in the country.
Yeah, and right now, BYU's in a position to play in a New Year's Six Bowl. They're in that conversation every time you listen to any national television broadcast. And so every game becomes big. It doesn't matter whether you're playing Boise State, who's ranked on the road, or it's North Alabama, who's making the transition over to FCS. You got to go out every single game and make a statement. They made a huge statement. People don't go into Boise and put up 51 on the Broncos. It just doesn't happen. And they got to make another statement to here. Every game is huge at this point.
We've never had a year like this because of COVID, but we have had years like this with BYU's football program. Go back to 1979. The Cougars start 11-0. Go to the Holiday Bowl behind the arm of Mark Wilson. Indiana wins it by a point. BYU finishes 11-1. 1984, 13-0. A national championship. Blaine and the Cougars beat Michigan in the Holiday Bowl. 2001, a 12-0 start. Cougars are rolling. They lose Luke Staley, and then they lose to Hawaii and the Liberty Bowl. And now here we sit in 2020 at 8-0, and Zach Wilson and company outscoring opponents 45-13. It's been an amazing performance for this quarterback. We had a chance to talk with him yesterday, and Blaine, he says he hates most of the week. He loves Saturdays.
He says, Saturday is fun. Monday's like we're starting all over again. Saturday, I get out there with my guys, and we have some fun. I love the shuffle pass. They call that one Chiefs after the Kansas City Chiefs. And, boy, Zach displaying everything this season to the NFL scouts, the ability to get the ball out quick and to throw his receivers away from coverage. We see that on the post to Dax Milne. You want to see a display of arm strength? How about this? Rolling to his right. He can't set his feet, throws it off balance almost 60 yards in the air to Dax Milne before the safety can get there.
Aaron Roderick said every NFL team was in contact with him this past week to talk about Zach Wilson. They see these numbers. Everybody sees these numbers. They jump off the page.
Well, his physical skills are unquestioned, right? And this year's made this huge jump where he's just thinking at a whole different level, an NFL level, and that's why you see him in the top 5 in every one of these important offensive statistics.
Our Impact Players are brought to you by Brady Industries, a provider of commercial cleaning supplies and equipment. Kalani Sitake yesterday, as we were asking about the maturation process of his quarterback, he said, what about my receivers? Dax Milne and Gunnar Romney have evolved the same as Zach, right alongside him.
Phenomenal route runners. And remember, these guys have grown up in the program together. Milne, Romney, and Zach Wilson, they're just on the same page. They know what the other is going to do. And Zach Wilson knows, hey, Romney's going to go like this. I'm going to throw it outside. He's going to go get it. Dax Milne's going to come back. I know he will. I'll throw a back shoulder. And these receivers are operating. They're getting separation. They're running great routes.
North Alabama has brought a core of big-time receivers as we look at Milne and Romney and their numbers. Now let's look at these numbers from the guests from Florence, Alabama. Chris Willis telling us they're all fast, they can all do different things, and they all have similar numbers.
And they came in together. This is their third season working together as four wides, and the most consistent, probably Dexter Boykin, 24 straight games with a catch. The last time Dexter was in Utah was their FCS debut at Southern Utah University. He had 8 catches, 135 yards, 2 TDs. So maybe he likes Utah and playing at elevation. We'll see today. And Andre Little is the only of the 4 that doesn't have a 1,000 yards career. He's only 23 yards away. So we could have 4 1,000-yard receivers on the field for the Lions today.
Jerem Jordan's the third member of our broadcast team this afternoon. He's down on the field. Jerem.
Guys, first off, it's warmer than it looks out here. I may go short sleeve a little bit later, but we'll see. BYU's schedule went from 12 games down to 2. There were only 2 left due to COVID. They built it back up. Houston and this game, North Alabama, they wanted to play this game, never wanted to get out of it, and here we are today. As for how North Alabama will stop or slow down Zach Wilson, head coach Chris Willis said, I'm going to stare at the ref, and I'm going to keep him winding the clock, guys.
Jerem, thank you. 66 members of the North Alabama football team made the flight from Florence. And Chris Willis saying, yes, some of them were a little nervous about the length of the flight. Most of them have never been out west at all. And they got here yesterday afternoon, came to the stadium, took pictures, staring at these mountains. And they know the challenge across the way that Kalani Sitake and the Cougars are offering here this afternoon. Our opening kickoff is brought to you by Les Olson Company, your office technology partner. Coach Sitake said this week, we know we're going to get their best shot. It's up to us to make sure they get our best shot. That's the mentality as we move into this Saturday afternoon. And the Cougars will kick it. KJ Smith, Andre Little are back deep. Just family members allowed inside today. About 45 from North Alabama made the trip. BYU has a contingent as well, but no band, no fans, no cheerleaders. What a different time this is, but we do have a football game, and we are so very grateful for that. Jake Oldroyd with the ball on the tee, ready to kick it off. And the 8th-ranked Cougars are underway here on BYU TV. Bounces into the end zone, and the Lions will start at the 25. Blake Deaver, he's had an interesting go. He's a redshirt senior out of Palm Beach, Florida. He's been banged up. He's had to deal with COVID. They've had everything going, and this is just their 4th and final game of the season. As an FCS school, they opted out of the Big South's plan to play in the spring. They said, now we're going to play 4 teams, kind of spread out, 2 weeks apart. Here's their 4th and final game.
Well, and I like this team. They have some individual players when you watch them on film that really jump off the page, especially that receiving core that we highlighted in the open. They're very solid defensively, especially in the front. Where they struggle is the guy that was supposed to start at quarterback opted out. So he's not there. They're actually missing their #1 quarterback, their #1 running back, and their #1 starting left tackle that they were thinking they would come into the season with.
BYU's defense ranked number 10 in the country. And a short pass good for about 5 on first down. And that's Jacob Terry out of Moulton, Alabama. Chris Wilcox, a senior out of Fontana, California, making the tackle. Gain of 4, it'll be 2nd down and 6.
And I would expect for North Alabama to do the quick passing game. It's very difficult to run against that big front 7 for BYU. Big and physical group. Very good against the run. Good game plan. Get it out to those talented wide receivers on quick throws. Make the game easy for Blake Deaver.
Deaver over the middle. The first down yardage. A good move after the catch. A gain of out to the 39-yard line and a first down. Isaiah Kafusi on the stop.
And just a quick stop route on the outside, coming out of that slot position. And those are easy throws. Let Blake Deaver get a rhythm. Hey, and you're going to notice Blake Deaver, he's got a big arm. Not a real athletic guy who's going to run around and hurt you that way, but a big arm. And he's a big dude. 6'3", 257 pounds playing that quarterback position.
Parker Driggers with his 9th catch on the season. 1st and 10 for the Lions out to the 39-yard line. Howell in the backfield. Play action over the middle into BYU territory. And North Alabama's Corson Swan junior tight end out of Spanish Fort, Alabama, with 15 yards and a first down. These guys have started fast in the 3 previous games. Chris Willis saying our challenge is not the start of the game, it's the third quarter where things tend to unravel.
And they've played solid defense in the first half of games. They've moved the football a little bit. And I love the way they're managing the beginning of this. That play action held BYU's linebackers and allowed the tight end to get in behind those backers for another easy throw for Blake Deaver. He's looking sharp here early on.
46-yard line of BYU. Deaver again, 3-man rush. This one's over the middle and incomplete.
Chris Willis told us about Blake Deaver. He said, what would you say about him? He goes, you know what? He's like having a coach out on the field. He's a redshirt senior, unbelievably detail-oriented. He says, I'll tell you what, he will know everything about every player on that BYU defense and know what to expect. He goes, his mental preparation is commendable. He loves the way that he works at the mental part of the game.
2nd down and 10. From the gun. 4-man rush. Over the middle again. They've had a little success on this drive. Inside the 45 to the 42. Another grab by Driggers. This one for 4 yards. Chris Wilcox got him out of bounds. Wilcox saying earlier this week that kind of the trend with this defense on the opening drive is they kind of do a case study on what they're seeing. And he goes, you know, teams have driven down and got points on us, but then they don't get points on us after that. And so we're kind of watching the defense get a feel for what the Lions have to offer. It's 3rd down. A lot of shifting for North Alabama. Deaver again, all kinds of time, and throws over the head of everybody and incomplete. And brings up our first 4th down. North Alabama 0-3 on the year. BYU 8-0.
And they tried to test Chris Wilcox out on that edge at corner. And man, Wilcox has been just up to the task of covering this year. He's been the guy that has the confidence to go to this defensive staff and say, who's their best guy? Just give me that guy. I will shut them down. He's got great length and great speed to run with anybody.
Joe Gurley in to punt the ball out of Killeen, Alabama. Hobbs Nyberg is back for BYU. Dixie High School down in St. George. Pressure comes. And Nyberg with the sun in his eyes will move away. Ball's into the end zone. 42-yard punt. And our first opportunity to see Zach Wilson and the BYU Cougars. Blaine, as you look back on your career, and there were games where BYU was picked to win by 1,000,000 points that you were in. You take that field, prepare all week. How sharp is this offense going to be?
When you've got something to play for, your preparation, no matter who you're playing, stays good. And I remember you put up, we talked about in the open, that 84 team. When we got to the back end of that season, we're ranked in the top 10. Man, you didn't have any trouble focusing in practice because you knew there was something on the line every play in every game from that point forward.
Zach wants a home run on 1st down. He's got it to Romney in double coverage, and Gunnar Romney pulls it in. Down to the 30-yard line. It's a 55-yard strike.
And this is where Zach Wilson just has the utmost confidence in Gunnar Romney. Romney's 6'3", and Zach knows if I get it up high, he will go up and he will high point the ball and he will take it away from the defense. Worst case scenario, he'll knock it down. He will not let that ball get intercepted, and that's why he's willing to throw it out there.
Romney leads the FBS with 11 receptions of 30 yards or more. Now it's Tyler Algier. Bangs inside the 20, all the way to the 16. Algier, just a sophomore out of Fontana, California, picks up 14 yards. Alonzo Creighton makes the tackle. 2 plays, and BYU's knocking on the door.
When we talked with Chris Willis, the head coach from North Alabama, yesterday or Thursday, he mentioned this BYU offensive line and how big and physical they are, and said, hey, this isn't just the highest ranked team, the NFBS, that they've ever played, but it's the best team they've ever played, the most talented. And he says the matchups are a little bit scary, especially up front.
Zach throws the ball away. Romney was the intended receiver, and he was out of bounds. Good defense downfield, and it'll be 2nd down.
Yeah, excellent coverage, not getting too far on top of the receiver so that they couldn't throw that back shoulder throw.
Fagan's on the coverage.
Yeah, that was the excellent coverage by Fagan.
2nd down and 10 from the 16. Zach with 22 touchdown passes to just 2 interceptions. Over the middle, there's his tight end, Isaac Rex. Rex to the 1-yard line. It'll be 1st and goal for BYU. Creighton on the stop. 15 yards from Wilson to Rex.
Little play action where Algier holds the backers. We saw North Alabama run a play similar to this in their first drive. You get the backers to step up to defend the run and then get it out to your tight end before he gets to the safety. Isaac Rex, boy, what a big-time year he has had as a freshman, having to step up big to replace Bushman.
Algier met in the backfield. Struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage as the Lions were waiting for him. North Alabama has not allowed any points in the first quarter through their first 3 games. KJ Smith.
Yeah, how about the hit by KJ Smith? KJ Smith, first team academic All-American out there, 4.0 GPA, really a special player for them. That was a big time hit because Algier, that dude is a truck. And KJ came up Smith and took him on shoulder pad to shoulder pad.
2nd down and goal. Play action. Zach to the end zone, and there's Rex. Touchdown, making it look very easy. And Isaac Rex, 7 touchdown receptions here in his freshman season. Matt Bushman had 4 all of last year, and Rex, his emergency replacement, has been spectacular.
Well, and he's got such great length, and he is a big guy at 6'6" and 250 that runs like a wide receiver. And when you get him isolated in the end zone, you know if you get the ball up high enough that nobody's going to be able to compete. That's a good throw with touch up high where nobody could get it but the 6'6" Isaac Rex.
Jake Oldroyd in for the extra point. And it is 7-0. Zach passed Taysom Hill last 2 weeks ago against Boise State, and he just passed Gary Scheide for 13th all-time at BYU with 46 touchdown passes. Needs 4 more to catch Virgil Carter at number 12.
At Intermountain Healthcare, we
in 6 plays to lead it 7-0 as we take a look at North Alabama out of Florence. They traveled over 1,700 miles to get here today. 6th furthest distance any Lion team's ever traveled for an away football game. And they've been playing football, Blaine, since 1949. To their credit, they are the only team on BYU's schedule when things fell apart that didn't budge. Even Houston said, you got to come play us here. But North Alabama said, we're committed, we're staying. And they've met the COVID protocols. And here we are on November 21st, and the 2 teams meeting here in Provo.
Well, and really, we congratulated both coaches yesterday, because anyone that whose teams can be disciplined enough to be able to continue to play deserve congratulations and accolades. And for BYU and Kalani Sitake to play 7 straight weeks like they did, that is not an easy task. We talked quite a bit about that to Kalani, and he said some of these kids moved into different apartments. They go home to their apartment if they live with players outside the team. They wear a mask in and they go to their room, and they've been living in the room and not out in the common areas. People don't realize the amount of discipline it has taken to keep this team with enough guys out there with this COVID thing to be able to play every week. It is an amazing accomplishment.
Here we sit with the 9th game of the year. And Utah, for example, beautiful catch down the sideline. Utah, for example, trying to get on the field for the first time later tonight. And the Lions come out firing, 23 yards and a 1st down.
And great throw to the outside. It's a back shoulder throw. Wilcox is in good position to be able to make the play, but just a better throw. We always say, perfect throw, perfect route beats perfect coverage every time, and that time it did. That was a really nice throw by Deaver.
Dexter Boykin on the catch. He's the one that caught the game-winning touchdown against Southern Utah back in 2018 in the FCS debut of North Alabama. First running play. And Jawan Howell struggles to get back to the line of scrimmage. Isaiah Kafusi, who leads the team in tackles at BYU, up to make the stick. It'll be 2nd down and 9, a gain of 1.
Well, and Kafusi has just been a phenomenal player this year for BYU, not only with his production on the field, plays great in the run, he's good in space against the pass, but his leadership has been palpable. You can feel it out there, very respected by his teammates. He's a very smart player at linebacker, 55 tackles and 3 sacks and 3 forced fumbles for Kafusi this year.
Deaver working that shotgun on 2nd and 9, now rolling out for the first time. Throws behind his intended receiver and incomplete. Pat McCoffman had a bent around backwards, tried to pull it in, and now it's 3rd down and long.
Advice to Deaver, take the easy one. And he came out on that bootleg, and his first level receiver right in the flat was open. And in the early downs, you just get the ball out and let your guys do things. He tried to get it to the 2nd level, a little bit greedy there, and it ends up now bringing up a 3rd and long for these Lions.
Deaver was 12 of 21 for 153 yards, a touchdown and interception at Southern Miss 2 weeks ago. We're also going to see Rhett Files, his backup, at some point today. Blitz is on, and Devers is down, and Kafusi on the charge with his 4th sack of the season. He had no chance on the blitz, a loss of 6.
Well, and BYU likes to blitz when they get you behind the chains. When it's 3rd and long, they'll bring those backers, and you see Isaiah Kafusi gets home. Good pressure on the inside by Daw and Summers, collapsing that pocket, and then nowhere to go as Isaiah Kafusi came off the edge on the linebacker blitz.
Kafusi, one of the many homegrown players on this BYU team out of Brighton High School in Cottonwood Heights. Gurley back on to punt the ball away. Just does get it away. Nyberg from the 17. And gets a little. BYU's 2nd offensive possession as a flag comes in. It's a 40-yard punt. We'll keep it here for a moment, see who the penalty is on. As Zach Wilson licks his chops to get that offense back on the field.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 10, receiving team, half the distance to the goal, 1st down, BYU. Top field.
They'll march the penalty, and we'll be back as we hear from referee Tuda Salaman. 7-0 BYU here on BYU TV. Just a moment ago, Morgan Piper and Kenny Rawls kind of get into it, and there's the first push, and then Piper comes over, and down goes Rawls, and he has stayed down and continues to receive attention as he grabs that left knee at the 22-yard line.
It looked like that foot got caught in the turf. I hate that when that happens, and it seems like it happens a lot more on artificial surface than it does on grass, because some of the grass will break away. But it looked like that foot got caught, and then he rotated on it. Not good, and he is obviously disappointed and in pain.
BYU's team has remained over on their sideline as Rawls is attended to. There is a lot of attention on a football poll that comes out Tuesday, which will kind of put down the groundwork, lay out the foundation for the college football playoff race. BYU currently number 8 in the AP top 25 as we look at the polls, and Rawls looks like he's about ready to move over to a cart and then head to the locker room. But what do you expect come Tuesday?
Well, and it's hard because, remember, the College Football Playoff Committee is a separate committee that votes. But with BYU 8th and both the AP poll, so that's the sports writers and media, but they're also the same in the coaches poll. And this College Football Playoff Committee, I think, would fall in line, fairly close to what that is. They take into consideration the whole criteria that they look at, but someplace in that top 10 I would expect BYU to be in the college football playoff.
And if that's the case, then it's full steam ahead with San Diego State on December 12th. And if the Cougars are that high, don't anticipate them trying to find another game.
Yeah, because if you're in the top 10, you're all you got to do is win, and you probably stay there, right? I don't think you fall by not playing games, and the opportunity to move up would be a very select group of teams that you could play. So it doesn't do you a lot of good in terms of the rankings The question would be, is there a long-term commitment they could get from somebody to play a series of games over a couple of years, or is there a really good opponent that they could play that even move them up higher?
As for the here and now, Wilson gets out of the pocket and takes off with green grass in front of him. Out to the 41-yard line goes Zach Wilson. They had pressure on him in his own end zone, but that middle opened up, and Zach takes off for 33 yards down the middle of the field.
A little scary right here. He was focused downfield, and that was very close to being a safety, but we've seen it for his entire career. He's got such great escapability back in that pocket, and he saw nothing but green grass in front of him and get out and run. You know what I think, though. I like him to get down at the end of those. I don't like to see Zach Wilson get hit at all.
Zach is 6'3" and 210 pounds. Here's Algier. Held up at the line of scrimmage, falls forward for a couple. Jacobian Barnes out of Port Arthur, Texas, makes the stop for North Alabama. Gain of 2.
And we remind folks, Lopini Katoa, the co-starter, along with Algier, they rotate in there. They're holding him out this game, try to get him healthy, come back for an injury, to have him available for San Diego State.
First quarter's been good for the Cougars all season. Just about every quarter has been good, but they have made a very good first impression in their football games. Up 7. Here's the second possession for BYU. Zach, there's Dax Milne, first time, and he's inside North Alabama territory. KJ Smith gets him out of bounds, but a first down for Milne, a gain of 10.
It's a good matchup on the outside. KJ Smith, the leader of that back end, the secondary for North Alabama, against Dax Milne, who's a phenomenal route runner.
Wilson over the middle, wide open. There's Milne again, inside the 25-yard line. And Dax Milne, a former walk-on out of Bingham High School, South Jordan, has a chance to be among the greats at receiver for BYU when he's finished.
Well, he just understands route running and is so good at getting separation. And getting separation is not about being a big guy. It's about understanding leverage and footwork and how to use your hands. He gets as good a separation as anybody in the country.
One of the best defenders on the North Alabama roster is down, Wallace Cowens. He's being looked on as we take a break.
Those who leave the most meaningful legacy seem to be the ones who...
Cowens not putting any pressure on that left knee as he is helped to the North Alabama bench.
And he's a leader on that defensive line, playing that defensive end, the 6'4" senior. He's had a lot of NFL interest because he's got great quickness there. Second team all-conference last year.
First down at the 25. And the intended receiver, Powell, as the ball sails on him. Incomplete. 2nd and 10. Creighton on the coverage. Jerem.
Guys, North Alabama making the transition from D2 to FCS. They won 3 national titles in the mid-90s. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But BYU's coaches can empathize. 7 of BYU's 11 coaches have coached at the FCS level, including Kalani Sitake, who was at Southern Utah as an assistant from 03 to 04. And, of course, Ed Lamb was the head coach at Southern Utah himself.
Jerem, thank you. 2nd down and 10. This is Algier with some room up the middle. And Tyler bangs his way to the 10. Picks up another first down. Creighton another tackle along with KJ Smith. 15 more yards for Algier. He came in today with 710. And this is a guy who played linebacker last season.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he is so talented. And at 5'11" and 225 pounds, runs a 4.5 40. So he's got great size with a low pad level and then great acceleration. So you get him going downfield. He's hard to take on, very physical in the way he finishes runs.
He gets it back on 1st and goal from the 10. Uses that body, bulls his way to the 2. Kyrie Fields on the stop. 8 more yards for Algier. A lot of folks saying, hey, BYU's young guys are going to get a chance to play a lot today. And answering that question, it's like they're already playing.
Yeah, they're playing young guys. This guy's just a sophomore, and he came into this game averaging 6.8 yards a carry and 88, almost 89 yards per game rushing. So he's just kind of picking up where he's left off in all these games. And last game at Boise State, 573 yards of total offense. And they're looking good again here.
And Tyler's got another touchdown, his 10th on the season. And BYU extends the lead to 13-0. They've got a huge offensive line, some NFL guys right up front there, and Algier with a big hole to maneuver through for the touchdown.
And right now, and this is where there's a discrepancy still, is you're trying to make your way into FCS and step up on the front, up front on the offensive and defensive line is where it takes time to get the guys and to grow them into guys that can compete. And BYU is one of the top offensive lines in the country. I've seen a lot of folks rank them in that top 5. I think they're right up there with Notre Dame, who I think maybe has the best offensive line in the country, but one or two for BYU with the group that they have up there, and they're monsters. 6'5", 6'6", 6'7", 310. That's just the norm up there.
Algier, 6 rushes now, 40 yards, and the touchdown, and a 14-0 BYU lead. 2 touchdowns on 2 possessions. This is a BYU team that scored 40 or more in 7 of the first 8 games, something that has never happened here in all the years of BYU football. Jerem.
Tyler Algier has overcome hard things, guys. He played the first 2 years of the walk-on. He got a scholarship after the Hawaii Bowl, but he's playing with greater purpose. He says he's playing for those who have cancer. His grandpa, Robert Algier, had prostate and lung cancer and a tumor in his brain. He's been battling it for 7 years. He writes FTOM on his cleats, for the old man. It's also to remember one of his mentors at Kaiser High School in Fontana, California, Dr. James Logan, who died in February. He says, I'm playing for you if you have cancer.
Jerem, thank you. BYU's drive, 91 yards in 8 plays, just under 3 minutes. It started with Zach Wilson eluding pressure in his own end zone and running 33 yards down the middle. And now Oldroyd will kick it off again. And this one will not be returned. And North Alabama will fire it up again from the 25. We mentioned the Lions come in 0-3. They started the season at Liberty before the Flames were ranked in the top 25. Boy, the Flames have had a great season. But that was a 28-7 defeat back on October 3rd. Then they got beat by Jacksonville State. This is a team that took Florida State to the wire by a touchdown in the middle of October. And then a couple of weeks ago, Southern Miss 24-13. They're mismatches all 3, but they held tough in all 3. Today's their biggest mismatch of the season. And it's showing early. But they have a lot of grit, a lot of fight in this group. Deaver batted down. Batted down by Zach Daw, 6'4", 271-pound senior out of Pleasant Grove.
We're talking to North Alabama's athletic director as we watch Daw come off the edge. If you can't get to the quarterback, get your hands in the passing lanes. And telling him, we were talking to the BYU coaches, and you know, you're making that transition from Division II where they were dominant for a lot of years, national championships and a great program there in Alabama. And it's a transition time, right? They're in year 3 of 4-year transition. I remember when Boise State went from FCS to FBS. This team reminds me of that transition, and if they can do anything like Boise State did, once Boise State made that transition, they didn't look back. And this team's got talent, and they're really well coached. And if they can continue to upgrade the talent, they've got some good young players, and continue to coach the way they're coaching, I think this is a team that will really nicely make that transition into FCS.
Tyler Price with an 11-yard reception and a first down. He's a sophomore out of Montgomery, Alabama. That's his first catch of the season, and it gives the Lions a first down out to the 36.
Yeah, I like that route concept. They run off the outside receiver, and then he has a pressure step and then goes to the out right off of the heels of the receiver running the go route. And a really good route concept, and the ball got there on time. With
the exception of Alabama, there's no team in the state of Alabama that has a higher winning percentage since 1990 than North Alabama. Tuskegee is number 3, and Auburn is sitting there at 4. What's going on at Auburn?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah, at the level they've played, this has been a very good program, and making the step up takes time. You know, it takes some time, and I think that these 4 games this season will prove to be very pivotal for this program as they move forward. They're not going to play in the spring, so they have time to heal up. They've learned a lot from these 4 games that they're going to play, and they'll be ready to roll next fall.
And for BYU, it's just execute a game plan and win and move on and win impressively. And now a flag as North Alabama moved a little early.
Number 74, offense, 5-yard penalty, second down.
One thing you look for, great teams, as we watch just a little bit of movement inside. See right guard there just moving. great teams, it doesn't matter who they play. They come out of the locker room with a chip on their shoulders. They put their foot on the gas, and they push it right to the floor, and they don't let up. And we've seen some good BYU football teams that haven't been able to do that. They play down to the level of their opponent. I think of the great Clemson teams in Alabama and Ohio State. They do that. This team this year for BYU, they're showing greatness. They don't care who they're playing. They come out ready to play every single week.
More pressure. And this is Driggers again with a nice move after the catch. Picks up another first down across the 45, close to the 47.
How about that first move? And this is a good formula. Get the ball out quick before the pass rush can get there. But Peyton Wilgar is usually a very good open field tackler. That was a great stop and start move to get to the outside.
Gain of 14 for Driggers out of Brantley, Alabama. He's actually the leading rusher on the Lions team at receiver, former quarterback in high school, so they put him in the Wildcat and also give him the ball on the end around. And he's made some nice catches here in the first quarter. Good protection. And incomplete. It bounced just in front of Cortez Hall. He's trying to make his case. He'll come back for 2nd down and 10.
And Cortez Hall out there coming back to the football. The ball just a little bit underthrown, trying to get those hands underneath. Let's see. Yeah, you see it just take a little bit of skip off the turf and roll forward. The official right there had a good view. Did a nice job of getting Keenan Ellis's hips to go inside with that inside pressure step, but caught it on the bounce.
Great camera work, our BYU TV crew. And making the most of our one live football game of the season. On 2nd down, over the middle, up into the air, and incomplete. And it's Jacoby Bird, these are the big four we were talking about before kickoff. Jacoby Bird can't pull it in as it sails high.
Yeah, good depth that time by Wilgar, and Blake Deaver was getting smacked as he was letting go of the football. And because of that, the ball takes off just a little bit. Tough spot to fit it in. And Bird, who came into this game with 102 career receptions, almost 1,200 yards, can't go up and get that one.
3rd down and 10. This is when BYU likes to bring pressure. Deaver in the shotgun.
So BYU going to play man here.
4-man rush. Deaver pumps and then leaves it short and incomplete. Another punt coming up for the Lions.
And it was a good decision by Blake Deaver. He had man-to-man coverage. Everyone on the right side covered up, but he had a one-on-one. Quick running back on a linebacker. Great pressure step to get open and just couldn't deliver the football because the pressure was in his face.
Nyberg is back for BYU. And another look at Joe Gurley. Here's his 3rd punt of the opening quarter. BYU's come close to blocking the first 2. They come close again. They're going to get one before the day's out. Nyberg from the 7. A little more room this time. Picks up 5 or 6. Down at the 15. Take a look at how close these guys are getting. They blocked a punt at Boise State.
And this team, this North Alabama team, runs a similar punt formation. They run the spread punt where they have that shield of 3 guys close to the punter. And BYU, typically, they'll put Kairos Tonga in there, and that's not even fair. The 330-pounder coming full speed. He blows the shield up.
You don't want any part of that. Jerem.
Owens Jr. and Kenny Rawls both sustained knee injuries for North Alabama. Neither are expected to return, guys.
It's unfortunate. Those are 2 very important players for North Alabama, especially Cowens, and we wish them the best.
Well, for Cowens, a senior, but these guys now would get the option to come back and play next season with a shortened season affected by COVID. Hopefully it's not too serious and they can both be back and play next year.
From the 14 out to Dax Mill, and a very easy 11 and a first down. Fagans getting him out of bounds, but
and for BYU, regardless of who you're playing, all of your timing stuff you can stay sharp on. BYU going a little bit of a pace here.
Algier rumbling through, another first down. BYU leading the country in plays of 10 yards or more. They started tied with Clemson. Clemson's game was postponed today. And so now the Cougars have free reign, and they've had a handful of double-digit plays already in this opening quarter. Zach with a nice pocket. This one eludes the outstretched hands of Milne. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Well, impressive pickup that time in the protection package by Tyler Algier. And watch Milne. We're going to go back to the play before the running play. These wide receivers aren't just about running routes and getting open. They are expected to block, and if they don't block, they end up right over on the sideline, standing next to the coaching staff and now out on the field. So BYU's tight ends and receivers have done an excellent job in blocking this season.
This is Kavika Fanua. Across the 45 to the 46. Here's a guy who's moved back and forth from defense to offense. Picks up 7.
And talk about Algier playing linebacker last year, and now he's their feature running back. And then, and Fanua is a guy that goes back and forth this season. Very, great utility player. Plays nickel, comes over and plays running back.
Cosper with a drop. Zach now 6 of 10 for 110 and a touchdown. On 4th and 3, there's a flag down. We haven't seen a lot of drop balls by this receiving crew this season. Here comes our official.
Illegal substitution. Defense. There were 12 players on the field at the snap. 5-yard penalty results in a 1st down.
As crafty as Zach is, he knew they were in trouble getting guys off the field and
he
took
hustled.
the snap.
And I don't know if their timing was off because of it, but unfortunate for North Alabama because they did get a stop on a drop ball. Would have been 4th down. BYU likely punts there.
Now the penalty moves the ball into North Alabama territory and a fresh set of downs for the Cougars. Play action again. Zach winds up, throws incomplete. Intended for Rex, or at least he was the closest to it. It'll be 2nd down.
And a timing route there, and as Rex came out of his break on his crossing route, Zach Wilson let the ball fly, and then Rex stumbled over a defender, and it affected the timing on the play.
2nd and 10. Coach Willis saying the thing that he's noticed about BYU's offense and Zach Wilson is whenever he's needed an answer, they get an answer. And for this one, they hand it over to Algier, and he gets close to another 1st down. Fields got him out of bounds, but Algier running free around that left end.
Well, for Algier, I mean, just adding in this game to that phenomenal 6.8 yard per rush average coming in. And he's a chain mover, that guy. Just this big time playmaker. And rarely do you see him get knocked backwards on a run. Finishes forward, doesn't get tackled behind the line of scrimmage. He's averaging 7.6 yards a carry in this one. 7 rushes, 53 yards. He's got the touchdown. And the 15 is as long, so it's not like that average is bolstered by some 40-yard run.
The 1st quarter is in the books. BYU with the ball twice. They got a couple of touchdowns. When we rejoin, they'll be midway through their 3rd drive of the football game. 14-0 Cougars here on BYU TV.
At Intermountain Health.
Brought to you by Brady Industries. Honestly better. The BYU Store. Official outfitter of BYU fans everywhere. And by Deseret First Credit Union. You know why. We show how.
First play of the 2nd quarter. Down the sideline and inside the 15-yard line for BYU, and a big play and a 1st down. The Cougars firing right out of the gates to start this 2nd quarter of play.
A little option play.
30 yards.
I think the idea is not for Zach Wilson to run that. Rarely do we see it. It's just to get that defense to freeze and get the ball to the edge to the running back, in this case Tyler Algier, as he rips off another big play.
Algier up to 91 yards here in the 1st half.
10.1 yard average for Algier here in the 1st half.
Gunnar Romney's at the top of your screen. Milne in motion. Zach's got to elude the rush, tosses to the end zone, And incomplete. Rex had a chance at it, couldn't corral it, and a flag is down back at the 22.
There goes Rex. Pretty good coverage, staying underneath, and then the corner drops off, and even though he stumbles, he gets in the way enough that Rex can't bring that in.
This will be roughing the passer.
The quarterback into the ground, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
That is a devastating penalty for North Alabama. Moves the ball inside the 10-yard line to the 5, gives the Cougars a first down.
And it's not that he got there really late. It's the way you take the quarterback down. And these days, I mean, this is the rule. He's there, and then he picks him up and drives him into the ground. They just don't let you do that anymore. Too many quarterbacks getting hurt. They implement that rule. You can't pile drive them into the ground.
From the 6-yard line, first and goal, BYU. Fanua inside the 5. And he stopped at the 2. Kavika Fanua, senior out of Syracuse High School. Syracuse, Utah, gain of 3.
BYU getting after it. A pretty decent job that time of getting some penetration.
Second down and goal.
That was Townsend, Terrell Townsend, who got penetration enough to keep that from being a touchdown. BYU stays with their big set, 3 tight ends in the game.
Mason Wake in motion. Zach's going to throw it to Wake and throws it low, incomplete. Kyrie Fields was over defending against Wake, and that play had very little chance of working out. Zach kind of throws it into the turf, and it'll be third down and goal.
A good cover there, and a play designed to have the defense be thinking run and go play action and sneak Wake out of there, out of the backfield from that wing. But well covered that time by North Alabama.
Third down and goal from the 2. And they stay on the ground. And into the end zone for the touchdown. And it's 20-0. As BYU continues to pound away, and the second touchdown of the afternoon for Tyler Algier.
Well, and you go, it's a zone play where everybody steps to the left on that offensive line, and they get their hands on the defense and just run them down the line of scrimmage. And as they do that, they create seams, and they leave it up to that running back to read the biggest seam and get it in there. And that was a good physical finish to the run to get across the end zone.
Oldroyd on for the extra point. And BYU now 3 possessions and 3 touchdowns. Look at our Deseret First Quarter summary presented by Deseret First Credit Union. You know why, we show how. In the first 15 minutes, this is how it played out.
At 211 yards for BYU in that first quarter, and they've added to that in a big way here in the first minute and a half of the second quarter. 78 yards for North Alabama. They moved the ball a little bit on that first drive before stalling, but and the quick pass game has been good to them. 81 passing yards, but cannot get the run game going. BYU very balanced in this one, and North Alabama, if they're going to have any success in getting some points on the board, it would seem like they're going to have to do it through the air because it's going to be tough to run the football.
So that's the first quarter, and they just added a touchdown, so now it's 21-0 early on in the second quarter, and those 3 scoring drives of 80 yards, 91 yards, and 86 yards for BYU. And now Oldroyd with the ball on the tee, kicking off from the south to the north for the first time.
It doesn't make a difference. Jake Oldroyd just hits it to the back of the end zone every time. And
what a weapon. He hasn't missed a field goal. He's 9 for 9 on the season. He's kicked 2 over 50 yards.
Yeah, and I think fans just kind of take for granted how good BYU's kicking game is, because you don't talk about it much because it's flawless at this point. And he hasn't missed a field goal, and his kickoff game has been really good. BYU's had to cover very few kickoffs.
And Ryan Rico, the punter, just a freshman. BYU in good shape kicking the football. Jaron, what do you got?
Guys, 3 different BYU coaches in talking about what they wanted out of the game besides the win had similar but different rhetoric. Kalani Stockey said, we want to play a perfect game. Jeff Grimes said, we want to play our best game. Aaron Roderick said, we want to play a clean game. So far, so good.
Thanks, Jerem. First down run for Howell, a gain of 2. North Alabama trying to get to the positive on the ground, now at -1. And our first look at Rhett Files, a sophomore out of Gulf Shores, Alabama. Chris Willis told us that we'd see both quarterbacks today. And Files, he's had the same run-ins too. He had to miss a game due to contact tracing. He had to miss another game due to COVID and having it himself. And now he's back and ready to go. I'll tell you, COVID is going to rewrite the end of this college football season. We talked about that for some time, and it has already redirected it in so many different ways. Another run for 2 yards. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
I don't even know how many games. It seemed like it was up to 17 canceled this week as a result of COVID, and that could have been added to. As we look at BYU's defense this season, 6th in the nation in scoring defense, 6th in the nation in total defense. Those are the 2 stats that matter, right? BYU top 10 total offense, scoring offense, total defense, scoring defense is a complete football team this year, and that's why they've had so much success.
3rd down and 6, first passing situation for Files, and he sends everybody out of the backfield. 4-man pressure for BYU over the middle. Nice catch thrown behind the receiver, but he pulled it in. Gets across the 40 to the 41.
And that was Cortez Hall with the catch. Cortez, 76 career receptions, 1,227 yards coming in, a 16.1 yard average, and 7 touchdowns. This is a great catch.
Wow.
That ball, it wasn't just behind. It was thrown with a lot of velocity down and low behind. You see why Cortez has the 76 career catches over a couple of years. Great hands.
Gain of 12 and a first down for the Lions. Files again. Throws complete. Cougar defender fell down. It's Boykin with the catch into BYU territory out near the 46. A gain of 13.
Yeah, great stop route this time. As Boykin's going down, he goes like he's going on the fade route and then stops and uses his arm to push off, be physical out there. And it's 25 straight games now with a catch for Dexter Boykin.
BYU is arguing that there should have been pass interference called there.
He was just physical. He just extended the arm. I don't mind that.
Micah Harper.
I'd like the receivers to be able to do that.
Micah Harper might disagree with you. First down. And on the ground, Howell. It's about 3. Hit initially at the line of scrimmage. Move forward. Peyton Wilgar on the tackle.
And tough move, and BYU is doing a good job of controlling that line of scrimmage. That D line starts with the D line, and they're getting penetration, so there's not many seams for Howell to run the football. And you look at 136 yards rushing for BYU, and the Lions with just 3.
Yeah, that tells you about offensive lines.
Right.
And now look at this formation. Flag comes down. I'm not sure it was legal. Down to the 35. It'll be a first down, a big hit. That's Howell on the catch. But the flags came out at the line of scrimmage on both sides of the field. A gain of 8. With that much shifting, sometimes you see...
You don't get enough guys on the line of scrimmage, right? So we'll see if that's the foul.
Illegal formation. Offense. There were more than 4 players lined up in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Yeah. You can only have 4 back there, so not enough of those guys spread out. We're on the line of scrimmage. Let's see if we can see where it's at. Now, you see how that there's a little bit of a bubble on this right side, and too many guys. All 3 of those guys. Well, now the 2 guys right before the end of the play, the outside guy moved up. The 2 inside guys also needed to be moved up on the line of scrimmage. At least one of them needed to be up there. So. Not enough guys up there in the line of scrimmage, too many in the backfield, and that was a good play. They got a first down out of it.
Now it's 2nd and 12. Files. Catch again over the middle. That's where they've been able to find a little bit of hope. Jacoby Bird with 3 yards. George Udo there to wrap him up. Udo went out of that Boise State game banged up a couple of weeks ago. Good to see him back. He's had a great year.
Well, and Kairos Tonga on that play just took 2 offensive linemen and pushed both of them all the way back into the quarterback. And so Files was throwing with three guys in his face, two of his own guys and a defender, and got that ball out. The redshirt sophomore, he needed all of that 6'4" to get that one out.
3rd down and 9 for North Alabama. Three-man rush. Little room. Trying to get to the outside. Cougars converge, and he goes down inside the 45 to the 43. Gained about 1.5 yards is all as Max Tooley came up to throw him down on 3rd down and 9.
Well, BYU doing a nice job. The backers, their job is to get depth and defend the pass. If the quarterback takes off, they rally up to the quarterback. And Drew Jensen, along with Max Tooley, Drew Jensen forced him out into Max Tooley. Both of those backers were disciplined and did their job that time.
Joe Gurley is in to punt the ball away on 4th down. Nyberg is deep. The Lions were missing a man, so the officials hold things up. And now we're ready to go. They may have got a piece of the football. They got a piece of the punter as well, as Nyberg fair catches down at the 13. The flag is out. If it's a 5-yarder, it won't give North Alabama a 1st down. It's a 31-yard punt.
Well, and then there's also discussion if they got any of the ball, then that would nullify it. And I'm sure they're having that conversation about both things.
They've been dialing in on the timing of Gurley, and they've nearly gotten to all 3 of his punts. And let's see what our officiating crews come up with here.
Running into the kicker. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Replay, 4th down.
So now North Alabama may go for it on 4th down and 3 instead of punting it.
Yeah, and take a look. You notice the drop, not dropping it flat. Oh yeah, that absolutely is running into the kicker. It's not the
Right.
the personal foul type, but a good call there. And hey, if I'm North Alabama right now, I'd go for it. On 4th and 3, and you're in BYU territory.
Yeah, why not? Saletti Fivaliaki thought he had it. He thought he had it on that punt rush. Came close to it, missed the ball, got the punter. And so now on 4th and 3, the offense is back on the field for North Alabama. Ball's at the 39-yard line. They've had little success running the football.
I mean, to me, this is a throwdown, and they've had some success with the quick throws. They're going to go with the pitch option.
BYU is there. That second surge is not going to get it done, and the Cougars have cut him down. Zach Daw and company. A gain of 1 yard, and BYU will take over on downs.
Tough to run on this BYU defense for anybody. All season long, they've been so stout. That front 7 is so big and so physical, and a good effort, but just not enough. Yeah, I like the quick throw on that one. They've had a little bit of success with those just quick hitches and quick throws, because the run into this BYU defense has been tough for them.
So instead of the 13-yard line, BYU will start this drive out at the 38. And Zach today, 6 of 12, 110 yards and a touchdown.
And little below his normal completion percentage, but he's had a couple drop balls.
Yeah.
Uncharacteristic drop balls.
There's Algier, waits for his hole to open up. Across the 40 to the 42. Broderick Martin out of Tuscaloosa with the tackle. Gain of 4 for Algier as he nears 100 yards here in the first half.
And look, as he patiently waits to see what Brady Christensen's going to do with that block, the big left tackle for BYU. On some people's boards, rated the top left tackle in college football. Likely high draft pick.
Back to Algier. Blocks around the corner, and he's got room in front of him. Cuts back inside. And finally caught near the 20. And what a first half for Tyler Algier as Barnes pulls him down to prevent the touchdown. It's a gain of 39.
Well, and one of the reasons you see Christensen outside on the pull kicking out, but it's fun to see Algier when he can get going north and south and show you that speed. Big dude, really good at running inside, but when he turns it on, he runs away from people, and he gets to take a little bit of a breath right now on the bench with 136 yards and 2 touchdowns already.
Now Wilson looking for a touchdown to the end zone, and it is Neil Pau, touchdown BYU. 19 yards.
All I can say about this, holy throw.
Yeah, I can't wait to see the replay.
That thing was a laser. My goodness. That is impressive. Dave McCann, that is, he didn't have to, he put just enough air on it, and he zipped that thing in there perfectly to Neil Powell. That was a phenomenal throw.
Third touchdown catch of the season for Powell, who's a junior, along with Milne and Romney. This receiving core, Rex is a freshman. This receiving core is just getting started. 28-0 now, BYU with 6:39 to go here in the first half. A couple of touchdown runs from Algier, a couple of touchdown passes from Zach Wilson. Business as usual for the 8th-ranked team in the country.
Welcome to a partnership where customer experience comes first. It's our focus.
Lane Fowler here in Provo. BYU goes 62 yards in 3 plays. Zach Wilson to Neil Powell for the touchdown. It's 28-0. Coming up at halftime, Spencer David Mitch with highlights. And we'll also hear from head coach Kalani Sitake. That's moments away here at the half on BYU TV. Oldroyd ready to kick it again. It's a little lower and a little further. Same result. No return. That BYU defense will be back out to defend its top 10 ranking here in a moment on BYU TV.
BYU football on BYU TV is brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, guiding you forward, and by Les Olson Company, your office technology partner.
Basketball season begins next week on BYU TV. Westminster and the Cougars Wednesday night, 8 Eastern, 6 Mountain Time. Countdown to tip-off starts at 7:30 Eastern, 5:30 Mountain Time. We had countdown to kickoff for football.
Yeah.
Now we got countdown to tip-off.
So we had to say, because it has to be the same. So it can't be just countdown to tip. It has to be countdown to tip off.
Absolutely.
Because of countdown to kickoff. And we got 3 games next week.
Yep.
Basketball games in the Marriott Center. That's going to be great.
New Orleans here Thanksgiving night, then Utah Valley here a week from today, all on BYU TV. And we are excited to see the new look Cougars with Mark Pope. Pass over the middle is incomplete on first down. 28-0, BYU leading North Alabama with 6:34 to go. You know who I'm most interested in seeing on Wednesday night is 7'3" Matt Harms.
Yeah, he's going to be, BYU now goes from not really having a rim protector to having 2 of them.
Richard Harward.
Richard Harward, Richie, and Harms. Big bodies all over the floor. BYU is going to be a matchup nightmare for teams. They can put a giant team out there on the floor.
Join us for that first look at the Cougars Wednesday night, and then again Thanksgiving night, and again next Saturday night here on BYU TV. Good looking throw across the middle and a catch for Jack Peavy. His first catch of the season. Matt Criddle and Troy Warner tackle him. Not before he goes for 19 yards and a first down.
Well, I really like this throw by Files. If he led the receiver too much, he would have let him into the safety. So he threw him open by throwing it where he had to throttle down and catch the football. A really nice look for Files on that throw.
As good as BYU has been on defense all season, just 6 forced turnovers, 3 fumble recoveries, 3 interceptions. They're not allowing points. They're not allowing yards. But what they have not done is cause as many turnovers as Kalani Sitake would like his defense to do. On first down, they'll try the right side now. Across the 50 into BYU territory goes Tyler Price. Udo on the tackle, a gain of 7.
And I like the release. Files gets the ball out quick. When they got him to commit, they were excited. Big, strong arm quarterback at 6'4" and 235 pounds. Is an all-state baseball player and a team captain on the baseball team, as well as a outstanding quarterback. Threw for over 2,600 yards and 18 touchdowns in 10 games his senior year. So, and we're seeing it. He can really throw it.
He had an interesting start to his season. He was out with COVID contact tracing, so he missed 2 weeks going into the Liberty game as they run the left side, pick up a first down. The ball is out. Kafusi's got it. And nobody's going to stop him. Inside the 15 to the 10, take that back. Somebody did stop him. Not before Isaiah Kafusi takes the ball to the 6. A 50-yard fumble return. We talked about those turnovers a moment ago, and they create one here as Price gets hit. The ball is out. And here comes Isaiah Kafusi, who always seems to be around to lose football. And there he goes.
Let's see how this ball came out. Was it stripped by Wilgar? Was it Peely who stripped it away? But the gift was given by the other backers to Isaiah Kafusi. And he's going to be mad that he didn't cut back inside or do something. When you get that, all you're thinking about is getting it into the end zone. Remember, Kafusi did pick up a turnover and get it into the end zone a few weeks ago here, and he predicted it before the game.
Against Western Kentucky. Cortez Hall got down there and prevented his second defensive touchdown.
He told the camera guy in the corner, I'm going to get it in the end zone right here. Called his shot and did it. This one he didn't call today. He must have known he was going to get tackled.
Here's Algier, who's having a huge first half. He gets to the goal line, pick up a 5. For more on Isaiah, here's Jerem.
He actually told 3 people. He told the videographer, he told Keanu Hill in person, and he texted Keenan Peely. So 3 witnesses.
We actually have like written proof
we have
on
a
the
paper
text,
trail.
right? That he actually predicted he called his shot. That's what makes it even more impressive.
Second down from the 1. Here's Romney. And nowhere to go. Well defended by the Lions and might lose a yard for Gunnar Romney.
Very well defended that time. Spread it out, kept an edge on the defense on the outside. Watch how this entire defense flows and stays outside, doesn't allow Romney to turn the corner on that fly sweep. Really well played. Yeah, that was the best play was by Cummings, the linebacker, to stay outside, play off of the block, and make that play. That was Jacob.
3rd and goal now from the 3. And Fanua got nowhere to go. Now it'll be 4th down and goal. No gain for Fanua. 3:35 to go here in the first half.
And free player, in fact, 2 free players coming through on that one. Not guys beating blocks, but guys not getting blocked.
BYU's going to go for it on 4th down from the 3-yard line. We've seen Zach roll out on these kind of plays. He has 8 touchdown runs, and seems like a lot of them have come in this kind of a scenario. From the 3-yard line on 4th down. Algier in motion. Here's Wilson to the end zone. Lobs it for Rex. And Rex uses that 6'6" frame for his 2nd touchdown.
And that's a tough one. When you put him out there at 6'6", he's also got long arms like a basketball player, and you get him on a corner, and it's not fair.
And that's the best corner that North Alabama has in K.J. Smith, but he's only 5'11".
Yeah, and the ball has to be thrown up where only Isaac Rex can get it, but we've seen Zach Wilson. His accuracy is uncanny. And just getting it up there where only Isaac can go and get it.
Oldroyd for the extra point. So the fumble and the return leads to another Zach Wilson touchdown pass. He's got 24 on the season. Here in the 9th game of the year, it's 35-0. There was so much concern when Matt Bushman went down with that season-ending injury during fall camp about what's going to happen at tight end. And Isaac Rex now with his 8th touchdown catch of the season. That leads the entire receiving corps. Jerem?
He's been a revelation coming into the game, 2nd among all tight ends in touchdowns, 2nd among all freshmen. Of course, his dad, Byron, All-American at BYU, only had 7 in his whole career. Isaac now has 8. He just passed Dad, guys.
He just lost his seat at the table now, hasn't he?
No,
Past your dad.
I mean, what? Can his dad say he was a better blocker? I don't know what he's going to say at this point. I was a better blocker? Because Isaac is lighting it up as a freshman, and his potential is really, really high. He's got such a long frame, and he's already a big guy, but he's unbelievably lean, and I think he can put on another 5 or 10 pounds. Doesn't need to put on much, and just be even more dominating.
Think how many balls he's going to get from Baylor Romney and Jake Conover.
Yeah, oh yeah.
In the years to come. Jacob Conover is waiting in the wings.
He's got strong hands, and I love the way he tracks the ball. He adjusts to the football and tracks to the ball like all great receivers. So I'm telling you, sky is the limit with that guy.
That's Blake Deaver looking on. We saw him in the first quarter, and now we've been watching Rhett Files as he's back out here late in the first half. And he's going to throw it on first down. Got a man open. And out of bounds goes Cortez Hall. First down across the 35 to the 36. Gain of 11.
Talk about that arm strength and an impressive release for Files. Big, strong guy, 6'4", 235-pounder. And that's what we're talking about. Wide side of the field, getting that thing out on a line. And that's what's worked for this Lions football team in this first half, is those quick throws, timing throws, getting the ball out before pressure can get there.
Now the Cougars bring some pressure. They stay on the ground.
And that's what's been tough in this first half, is to run the ball at all against this tough BYU defense. Max Tooley with the tackle.
Watch Tooley slide through and cut this play down before it could hardly get started. Well, we may not show it to you, but Tooley's had a busy first half. It'll be second down and 9. They'll give him a yard on the play. There are 2 minutes left in the second quarter. The theme to this first half, taking care of business for BYU. Ball batted down at the line. That's the second time Daw has got a big paw up there and knocked it down. And Kyrus is in there disrupting as well. This is Kyrus getting a piece of it.
And it's so hard because when you're trying to create a pocket for your quarterback, the most important thing is to neutralize the nose guard on the line of scrimmage. That's a tough thing to do. Even when you double team Kyrus Tonga, it's like trying to stop an Army tank. Like, he just pushes that pocket into the face of the quarterback, and it makes the quarterback very uncomfortable when he can't stride out and he's worried about the ball getting batted down in the middle.
Third down and long. Tonga, 321 pounds. On the rollout, pass is complete. Be a first down. And the Lions get something together here with under 2 minutes to go here in the first half.
I like this idea is when quarterbacks are getting pressure and BYU's getting to you, what you want to do is move the launch point around for the quarterback.
Unnecessary roughness, late hit out of bounds. Number 4, defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Swan with the 18-yard reception, and then
he hit his own guy.
Fred Warner is hit with the penalty. Let's take a look.
So here he is. Oh yeah, you know, he put his hands on him, and then he and Criddle ended up having a collision at the end. But I didn't see that at first look. He put both hands on him, gave him a little shove as he was going out of bounds. The offensive player didn't even go down on that play. It was a bigger collision between he and Criddle.
First down at the 30 for the Lions. This is as close as they've been to the goal line. Downfield, inside the 5, and a beautiful catch by Boykin, showing off his ability to go out and get the football. 28 yards, and it's first and goal for North Alabama.
And this is just a little bit of a inside out and then get some width as he fades away from Harper. Harper's in good position there. And Warner not able to get over there in time. This is just a good throw. This is just a throw that's put in the perfect spot. And hey, we mentioned at the start, this is a good receiving core. And they've had so much inconsistency at quarterback with illness and injury and all of that. They haven't been able to show off, and they are here, and now they get it in.
Jawan Howell into the end zone for his first rushing touchdown of the season. And a nice drive by North Alabama to get on the scoreboard for the first time this afternoon. That'll give them a little momentum.
Just pulling the wing out in front, kicking out, and beautiful run play. Hey, that was an impressive drive, a nice answer by North Alabama, and a good cut inside of Daw on that play by Howell.
Extra point, Sam Contorno, and it is good. 35-7 with 1:37 to go. The good news for North Alabama, they're on the board. The bad news is they've left way too much time for Zach Wilson.
A minute 37, we've seen Zach Wilson move down the field a lot faster than that this season. And yeah, for UNA, you almost wish that you could have scored and left nothing on the clock to not allow Zach Wilson to come back out there.
75-yard drive in 6 plays. Files look good. They got help from a penalty on BYU, gave him 15 more yards, and into the end zone they go. So this will be the first time that North Alabama will have kicked off. BYU will get the football to start the third quarter. As you look at the summary, as mentioned, it's minute 22 and
75 yards, couple big plays, and a 15-yard penalty that helped there. But I like the way Files managed that offense on that drive. Got the ball out, and moved him around, had a couple of big completions, and yeah, that was a good answer.
Caleb Christensen's deep for BYU. Contorno puts it up. This is a returnable ball from the 3. And now a fair catch. Kind of a late, delayed fair catch.
The ball was going away from him, and so he knew it was going to be tough to run it, so he signaled fair catch, and then he caught it, and nobody blew the whistle. So he got a little concerned that they didn't see his fair catch signal and started to run with it, and they turned around and was like, wait a minute, did you guys not see that? I was doing this. The official recognized that it was a legal fair catch signal and blew the whistle finally. It was just a little late.
So here comes Zach in the offense at the 25 with 1:37 to go. BYU has all 3 of their timeouts.
And these are good situations because it's a good time to work on that 2 minute or 1 minute and 37 offense.
Zach looking around, has all day. Now goes deep for Milne. Dax has got it all the way down to the 17.
This is back-to-back ridiculous throws by Zach Wilson. The touchdown throw and this throw. He's looking to his left, and then he comes back and spots Dax Milne late. And that is perfectly thrown.
58 yards for Milne. First down at the 17. Zach again, a quick release. Here's Isaac Rex. And whistles blow midway through. BYU will get hit for a procedure.
And the flag was thrown, and then the whistle should have been blown immediately.
Prior to the snap, false start. Number 83, offense. The player never got set. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Well, BYU was in a hurry, and Rex was the one who caught the ball. He was just eager to get downfield.
And not set, but that play, the whistle should have blown a lot quicker, so that play didn't even get run. And it's like they threw the flag and started to come in and then blew the whistle afterward. And it was Rex, the guy that caught the pass. Zach Wilson now 9 of 15 for 191 yards and 3 touchdowns here in the first half.
Final minute of the half. Zach again, all kinds of time. Throws to the goal line to Milne, and he's out of bounds. It'll stop the clock. Will Singleton down there with Dax Milne.
Good coverage by Singleton. I mean, the ball was completed, but Singleton had forced Milne wide enough with leverage to make this, as he closes, he got him wide enough, and he just couldn't get that foot down.
Dax has made very difficult catches look very easy all season long. Now there's 48 seconds to go. It's second down at the 22. Pressure comes. Zach flips it to Fanua. And Kavika is into the end zone. Touchdown. 22 yards. And BYU wastes little time getting into the end zone. And it's 41-7. This is an interesting play. It's almost like the play against Houston that they call Chiefs, but this one a little sidearm drop off to Fanua.
They set up the screen, and that's just Zach Wilson improvising. So you got 2 guys coming at him. If he throws it up and over the top, it probably gets batted down, and so he just gives it a little sidearm flip, perfect spiral. And this is why people go, man, he reminds us of Patrick Mahomes. Now nobody's saying he's at Patrick Mahomes' level, right? But he is playing like a first-round draft pick, and the fact that he makes all of these throws accurately from different arm angles is very Patrick Mahomes-esque.
The first touchdown of the season for Kavika Fanua, and it is 42-7 BYU. 40 seconds remain here in the first half. And I'll tell you, those are the kind of touchdowns that get on ESPN all day long when people are saying, watch what Zach Wilson's doing in the Heisman race.
I can think of 3 throws in this first half that should be on there if you want to talk about it. The touchdown throw to Neil Powell, the post to Dax Milne and then that one right there. And you look at the season comparisons. That's some pretty lofty company right there. And all quarterbacks, Justin Fields and at Ohio State playing great. Had a tough one today against Indiana, won by a touchdown. And then Trevor Lawrence at Clemson. Mac Jones at Bama, who's been phenomenal this year. And then Kyle Trask.
He may be the front runner right now.
And I think Kyle Trask is maybe everyone thought Trevor Lawrence would run away with this thing and Justin Fields would finish second. And so
Trevor Lawrence can't get on the field.
Yeah, with the team having games canceled and him sitting out a couple weeks with COVID. But I'll tell you, that Florida team I think is maybe the biggest surprise in college football. They're playing really well right now.
Fair catch at the 9-yard line as Oldroyd tried something different to kick it short and high. And now 40 seconds and North Alabama get their offense back out on the field. We're talking to Zach yesterday, and we talked about the leadership. And I was like, was there a point in the fall camp or whatever when you became the leader of this team from your perspective? And he said, well, he felt he had to earn it, thought they had a good spring and a good fall. He goes, I worked hard to earn everyone's respect. He goes, I had to prove it on the field the first 2 games. After the first couple of games, he thought everyone had bought in.
He said about 2 games in. And interesting, we had a conversation with Kalani Sitake about leadership as well. And he said one of the reasons, they said they thought that Zach with his skill set would win that job. You see, hey, positive yardage run play.
Look at this. Still motoring his Price.
And that's not been an easy go running the football for North Alabama, and they do it here. But as they get a nice, I think BYU, you get BYU thinking this is a throw. They're gonna throw the football, and they run it right downhill. Malik Moore finally with a tackle, but a great hole created.
Now North Alabama's thinking, hey, we might be able to get down there and try something with 31 seconds left.
Get a timeout. So back to Kalani says there are 2 purposes to just opening up the job and saying to Zach Wilson, you got to earn the job. Job's wide open. He says, first of all, it makes everybody compete. So the backups are better because they got to compete. It makes Zach better because he's got to go out and perform every single play and he goes, and it allows your quarterback who earns that job to earn the leadership mantle. When the team looks at it and goes, this guy had to earn this job. They didn't just hand it to him, and he earned it play by play through fall camp. It puts him in a leadership role, and he earned it. And I think that's a great mentality that Kalani went into the fall camp with on this quarterback group.
From the 45, first down. Files. Now he's running and throws it away as heavy pressure came. Flags down in the secondary. Tonga harassing Files on the pass play. We'll see if somebody was holding somebody downfield. 25 seconds to play.
Prior to the pass, holding number 1, defense. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
Micah Harper hit with the penalty. That moves the ball to the BYU 45.
And watch Harper right at the bottom of your screen. And as he starts the fall, he realizes, wait a minute, I'm gonna be on my backside, and this guy's gonna cut back and be open. He just grabbed a hold of some shirt and pulled the receiver down with him. That was the tight end that time, who he had one-on-one coverage on Carson Swan.
In a challenging half for Harper. This one over the middle, thrown behind Hall and incomplete. A pass on target there, and the Lions would have been in business. Now it's 2nd down and 10 with 22 seconds to play. Chris Willis in his 4th season at North Alabama as head coach, but he's been there since 2002. He's coached just about every single position.
And I'll tell you, he's been around for all of the success this program's had at that Division II level. So he knows about how to game prep and get guys ready to go and all of that. And now it's just a matter of getting recruits in there. He was great to talk to yesterday. I'd go play for that guy.
Files runs out of bounds after a yard or two with 16 seconds left. Nobody open downfield. Just trying to make something. Conterno's longest field goal of the season is 29 yards, so they've got a ways to go before they can even consider that. With the ball at the 44. He ran for a yard, and it's 3rd down and 9. We'll hear from Coach Sitake coming up here in a moment. We'll also hear from Coach Willis 3rd down and 9. Out of the backfield, and a big hit as Harper comes up and drops Price. A gain of a yard is all. And a timeout call.
Well, I'll tell you, this is played well. In the drop, reads the quarterback's eyes, recognizes the ball's coming out quick, and then you just close on the receiver. And he drove right through his thigh pads. A great, clean, well-done tackle.
7 seconds left. And it is now 4th down. You try something magical, back it up, chuck it as far as you can.
Yeah, you got one play. Throw it in the end zone, right?
Absolutely. If they were to kick it, it'd be 60 yards, and so I don't think that's even a consideration.
Even at this elevation, if they had a 50-mile-an-hour wind, that one might be tough. But yeah, I say you throw it into the end zone. This is a chance to work on your save-the-game pass. That's what we used to call it. That's what they called it when Jim McMahon hit Clay Brown in the end zone to save the game pass.
Yeah, it saved the game.
It saved the game.
On 4th down. And Files throws it as far as he can to the end zone, and it is incomplete. Moore had a shot at it for the interception, but the half will end on that defensive play, and BYU will take a 42-7 lead into halftime. Moore's thinking, I'm not going to get an easier one.
No, he's going to be disappointed, and he was in good position there. Zach Wilson in that first half was 10 of 17, 212 yards and 4 touchdowns. His pass efficiency rating was 241.2 in that first half. 200 plus is just no big deal for him anymore.
Kalani Sitake meeting with the officials at the 40-yard line. We're going to hear from him in a moment. The star of the first half, Tyler Algier, 141 yards on the ground on 13 carries, 2 touchdowns, averaging just over 10 yards a pop, his longest a 39-yarder. And how about Dax Milne? Quietly over 100 yards on 4 receptions
he's had
in that
some
first half.
Big catches, that 58-yard bomb down the middle, of course, the biggest, but a 25.3-yard average on those 4 catches for 101 yards in that first half for Dax Milne.
Zach 4 touchdown passes. And head coach Kalani Sitake is approaching our socially distanced microphone in the end zone for a quick visit with Jerem.
All right, Kalani, were you more pleased by 6 touchdowns?
I can't hear you.
Were you more pleased by 6 touchdowns or disappointed in the 1 allowed?
I didn't hear. Say it again.
Were you more pleased in the 6 touchdowns or disappointed in the 1 allowed?
I was disappointed. I'm not really worried about the score. I'm just disappointed in some of the sloppy stuff, the penalties. That's what's getting me right now. And so right now on punt return, we have 2 penalties that should never happen. One cost the guy an injury, you know. So the way we're playing, I want us to play with better sportsmanship, better effort. I mean, if I'm looking at it as a discipline is the issue. We got to play cleaner football in the second half. I'm not really worried about the score right now. We're gonna try to do things get a lot of guys a lot of reps in the second half, and we'll see how it goes.
Can we expect to see Zach Wilson in the second half?
I wouldn't count on it. So we're gonna get some other guys some reps and get some guys an opportunity to, get on the field and get some needed experience.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Kalani Sitake, his team up 42-7. And if Zach Wilson's day is over, he's 10 of 17, 212, and 4 touchdowns. Spencer Linton and the guys are coming up next here on BYU TV.
At Intermountain Healthcare.
Halftime at LaVell Edwards Stadium, the BYU Cougars ranked number 8 in the country and well on their way to what looks like victory number 9 on the season in their push for perfection, 42-7 over North Alabama. We talked about this in the pregame, but we care so much about it that we're going to take you back one more time. Tom Holmoe, the BYU athletic director, has asked for all of Cougar Nation to be all in. In light of the pandemic, BYU needs your help. Here's Tom Holmoe.
We've missed you, Cougar Nation. We've missed seeing you. We've missed hearing you. And we've missed the roars and cheers from all of you. Our football team has had an amazing season up to this point and is currently ranked number 8 in the nation. 2020 has been a year like no other. 9 of our teams finished this past season in the top 15 nationally, including a #1 national ranking, a national semifinalist, a national championship runner-up, and a national championship team. But along with every athletic department across the country, this global pandemic has taken a financial toll on us. Strong sources of revenue like season tickets and sponsorship dollars have taken a big hit, and COVID testing has become a major expense on top of that. As a department, we've worked hard to be financially responsible in the face of the COVID pandemic. BYU Athletics has been a self-sustaining entity for more than 40 years and is one of the few athletic departments in the country that has operated without an annual financial loss for the last 15 years. We're not funded by an external entity. We do not receive money from tithing funds, as we believe that money goes to a far greater use. We work to achieve more success without overspending, while still maintaining nationally ranked teams. Not many Power 5 teams can claim that. We are so grateful to so many who have reached out already by donating season ticket money, rolling ticket purchases to 2021, and contributing new and larger donations. We see you, we recognize you, and we thank you. Your generous support is greatly appreciated. Despite all our current efforts, we are projecting a financial shortfall just short of $20 million by the conclusion of the 2021 athletic season. You may have never had the opportunity to give before. You may have never been asked. I'm asking now. Now is the time to give. $10, $100, $1,000, or even $1 million. Whatever you're able to contribute. If you're in a financial pinch right now, we understand. If you can't give at this time, you've already given us a ton just by being loyal, strong, and true. We need you more than ever, Cougar Nation. Who's all in?
I'm all in.
Even from over here in China, I'm all in.
I'm Bicycleham in Philly, and I'm all in.
I'm all in.
You know it, I'm all in.
I am all in. And I know that Lavelle would be too if he were here.
Dexter & Dexter is a full-service law.
42-7 BYU all over North Alabama. Great to have you with us wherever and however you're connected on BYU TV. This is your halftime update. We got a lot of highlights to show and not much time to do it, so let's get to it, David and Mitch. Early on, well, it didn't take long for Zach Wilson to connect with Gunnar Romney. 50 yards, David.
Yeah, BYU really had their way early in this game offensively. Whatever they were trying was clicking. And right here, Zach Wilson to Isaac Rex in the end zone, making him pay.
7-0 BYU. Tyler Algier running with a lot of confidence, Mitch. 14-zip.
Whoever had him as the Y factor, they're probably going to get it right on this one. He just looks so fluid, looks so good, looks so confident. But it just speaks to the whole entire offensive unit here. They look the same every single week. But my favorite part about this offense is they're so consistent.
How about the pass in connection with Neil Pau right there? It's 28-0 BYU. Then the fumble. Isaiah Kafusi. He's probably going to get some trash from his teammates about not scoring on this.
Hey, Tofa, his defensive end's got to hurry up and pick up the block right there, but he probably had some type of little side wager with Rex saying, hey, if you get down to the 5-yard line, stop right there because I'm going to make him pay with another touchdown reception.
Isaac Rex on 4th down, no less. And BYU up 42-0, but then a little bit of a defensive lapse.
Yeah, and this is something BYU needs to clean up going in the second half. Defensively, you can't allow the big chunk plays, and then the penalty-wise, too, BYU with 5 penalties on the afternoon.
Mitch Matthews, there's your Y factor, Dax Milne.
That's my guy, my Y factor. I'm so proud of the work he's put in and who he's become. Started with walk-on to what he's doing now every day, averaging over 100 yards per game. It's awesome, awesome.
Kavika Fanua on the little sidearm flip from Zach Wilson. That brings us to our score, 42-7 BYU all over North Alabama. We're going to take a break, come back with more live football. Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler, and Jerem Jordan back on the call. A beautiful November day in Provo, Utah. And those of you watching on BYU TV, which is most of you, The 8th-ranked BYU Cougars all over North Alabama, 42-7, almost 400 total yards of offense for the Cougars in the first half. David, what was the most impressive part about BYU's offensive performance?
You look at the balance there, 212 passing yards, 182 rushing yards. They really just had their way. Offensive line, credit to them, provide Zach that pocket, but also in the run game, they were out there blocking in front for Tyler Algier. So all around, really solid by offense. Defense, on the other hand, they've got some stuff they got to work on. I guarantee that's Kalani's message right now in the locker room. Defense, you got to come out. You got to find a way to limit those passing yards, 119 passing yards. And a lot of those were big chunk plays and guys just getting beat on one-on-one battles. And so clean that up, clean up the penalties as well. And, this is where you probably the starters defensively come out and start the second half. But the sooner you show that you've taken care of business, the sooner you get the backups in there. Same thing with offense.
Mitch, one quick adjustment for the second half for BYU.
Honestly, they've come out and they ran the ball really, really well. 182 yards rushing for BYU compared to 30 yards for North Alabama. But the passing yards are very similar and first downs are very, very similar. So defense, tighten it up, prove yourself in the first drive, maybe 2 drives that Sataki lets them play in. But defense, prove yourself, stop these guys, get the starters off the field.
Yeah, 16 first downs for BYU, 14 for North Alabama. All right, we're back with the start of the third quarter. Dave McCann, Blaine Fowler, and Jeremy Jordan take it away right after this.
Bleeding gums are a key indicator of
42-7, BYU leading North Alabama as we get ready to start the second half at Lavelle Edwards Stadium. Cougars are going to get the ball first. First, here's Jerem with North Alabama head coach Chris Willis.
Coach, what was your message to your team at halftime?
Well, I mean, just keep competing, don't give up, and keep fighting. When you get in a game like this, it's kind of one-sided. Just don't come out here in the second half and lay down. And I don't expect that. Our guys have competed all year in the 3 games we've played, and right now offensively we've had some things, and we've had some plays that gave us some success, time of possession, moved the ball, and actually scored. But right now defensively, we're missing some key players up front. And, when you're at our level of play against a team like this, you got to have all your weapons. And not that it would make that big a difference, but it does make a difference. And losing 2 of your starting D linemen. And, we're going to keep competing, though. And defensively, we just got to find a way to get a stop or 2 if we can.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Ben.
Chris Willis, we had a good visit with him this week. And like so many other schools dealing with COVID, he said his guys kind of tired. After this game, their season's over, and they'll kind of be happy about it. But he said they were happy that BYU's in the news and all this stuff because some of these guys believe they should be competing at that level. And he mentioned a couple of those defenders who got knocked out early in that first half.
Yeah, and that's a shame. And this the strength of this team right now is that defensive line. And so you lose a couple of guys that are important up there, and that's a problem for you, especially Wallace Cowens, who's been so good up front. And that makes it tough because you don't have the depth at that level that you do as you move on kind of up the food chain.
So here comes Baylor Romney, sophomore out of El Paso, Texas, brother of Gunnar Romney, 16 of 25, 196 yards this season. Has had a chance to get on the field a whole lot this year, but boy, he played big in some games last season, made a name for himself. And BYU is set at quarterback moving forward with he and Romney. We may see Sol-J Maiava this afternoon as well. And the first pass of the second half goes for 3 yards. And Fanua, the recipient.
And I'll tell you, Romney was as impressive as anybody I've seen coming as a backup guy in his start against Boise State last year, where he was almost flawless in that game, getting the ball out on time, making great reads, just played with great poise. He's a very smart quarterback. He's accurate thrower. He understands defenses. And how nice is it for BYU? They've got a first-round draft pick, a starting quarterback, and they've got a backup that they're very confident go out and win football games for you.
Fanua moves the pile a couple of yards. One thing you've noticed and talked about Romney over the last couple of seasons is how fast he gets the ball out.
Yeah, he is very good at getting his pre-snap read and understanding what he thinks the defense is going to do, and then he confirms that on his first step and doesn't hesitate. Bam, the ball comes out, and that's what makes him so good.
3rd down and 6. You see Zach Wilson there. He's got a headband on that says anytime, anywhere.
Yeah, any team, anytime, any play, or something like
that.
Yeah, it's.
There's Romney's pass, and Pau can't corral it, so BYU's going to punt. Yeah, let's take another look at that headband so we get it right, because clearly he put a lot of thought and effort into it.
So any team, anytime, any place, is that what it says?
Look over at us, Zach, so we can get
Zach,
that
he's
right.
not helping us out here. Not helping us out here.
It's been quite the buzz. Oh, there it is. He got everything in.
Oh, any team, time, or place. There you go. And, yeah, this team is confident, especially this offense. I think they feel like they can move the ball on anybody.
Rico's first punt of the day. Peavy is back. Going to catch this into the sunshine at the 14-yard line. Tell you, Rico, that's just his 19th punt of the year. He's an outstanding punter. Just hasn't had a chance to do it. Last season, BYU punted 53 times. Here we are in game 9. That's number 19.
And when he does,
58 yards.
He hits moonshots. Like that thing right there was a monster kick again. And Rico is a big, strong athlete. The one thing BYU has, these specialists, kicker and punter, both are very physical guys. Like, they work out like crazy. They look like they could be position players. Oldroyd's a big, strong, well-built dude. And Rico he looks like he'd be out there playing tight end. He's a big, strong guy as well.
Rhett Files going to start here in the third quarter. Devers started the game, and Files has played good and showed some good things. He gets hit as he releases it, and this one is intercepted by Moore. Remember, he dropped one at the end of the first half, and on the first pass play by North Alabama in the third quarter, he pulls it in.
And you're right, he was disappointed he didn't get that one on the last play of the half. And let's see. And it looks like he got both arms under that thing and came up with a catch.
This will be a good angle.
At first glance, I was wondering if it got to the ground, but he definitely got under that one, playing center field back at that safety position.
4th interception of the year for BYU.
And pressure is what kills quarterbacks, and taking that hit right at the last second.
Pepe Tanavasa on the pressure, and there's Moore on the interception. And now BYU has it at the 39-yard line. Second turnover on the day for North Alabama. Fanua in at running back. And Baylor Romney will go to work. On the end around, this is Jackson. Somebody missed a block as North Alabama was ready for him in the backfield. They drop him for a 5-yard loss. Terrell Townsend on the pursuit.
Yeah, an excellent job of Townsend keeping his inside-out angle. I like the edge that the defense had there. You got to keep that edge, and you force those fly sweeps back inside. And we see Jacob Cummings has had a good football game at linebacker for the Lions. He sealed the edge and forced him back in.
So a loss of 4 and 2nd down and 14. Romney with all kinds of time. Waits for his man, throws for Waite, and Waite's inside the 20. Rumbles down to the 18-yard line. There's a flag down. Might be the reason why Romney had so much time to throw. But the play goes 25 yards if it stands. And the way BYU's acting, it's coming back.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to stand. And when a quarterback has that much time, he's moving around different angles. Lots of times you see holding.
There is no foul for holding on the play. First down, BYU.
All righty then. 25 yards down the field for Wheat, his 4th catch on the year.
It's interesting that they threw the flag, and obviously they threw it for holding, right? Because he said there's no foul for holding, so that's what they suspected. And then when they had a chance to discuss it, they decided that it wasn't. I like the way Romney moved here. Instead of just bailing out of the pocket, he just moved to the side, found himself a soft spot, and then made the delivery.
Romney over to Romney. And this is Gunner inside the 10 for a first down.
We have had a Romney to Romney touchdown reception already.
Yeah.
This last year. So a well-designed play. It starts out looking like an option to the right. And it's a quick screen set up back to the left from Baylor Romney to Gunner Romney. Look at the big guys out in front.
Big brother to little brother. And what a thrill it is for family members to play together here at this level of college football. So now it's first down and goal at the 8-yard line.
Bunch of brothers on this team. As you can see, Kafusi's, Romney's, Tuipulotu's, and Wilson brothers all on this football team together.
Sione Finau and has the ball knocked away, but Barrington corrals it midair and avoids a turnover. We'll take a look. That ball was bouncing all over the place. Finau's first carry, trying to find his way, coming back off that knee injury. And watch the end of this one, Blaine.
Yeah, got into traffic and was held up, and then and this is where I want,
ball's out.
First of all, I worry about guys getting hurt when the pile's piled up like that. It seems like they wait a long time these days to blow the whistle when progress is stopped. And I mean, and that ball is ripped out, and I don't know how. Well, Barrington caught it in the air.
Caught it there. Second down. Romney, Fanua, touchdown BYU, and Baylor Romney's got his second touchdown pass of the year, a 7-yarder. And Kavika has his second touchdown of the day, and it's 48-7.
A setup all the way is a quick screen, and if you're going to do this, you got to make sure that both of those receivers on that side do a good job with their blocks. Isaac Rex and Epps, the two guys out. Rex in the slot, Epps at the wide receiver, did a great job of blocking downfield. That was an easy one for Fanua.
Second turnover has turned into a touchdown today. Oldroyd drills it through. 10:50 to go in the third. 49-7. Kavika Fanua, his second touchdown of the afternoon here on BYU TV.
Every structure has stories.
Touchdowns back in the day and you got on the phone. What are you even talking about?
And they say, hey, what did you see right there? They just want to make sure you made the right read. Sometimes you threw a touchdown to the wrong guy. And they just, no.
That's what's going on here.
Yeah, sometimes they go, hey, what did you see? And sometimes they want to talk to you about plays way before that. You're going to go back. It has nothing to do with the touchdown throw. It's like, hey, on first down over there, you went there. Why'd you do that? What did you see? That's what they always ask you.
Fair catch called on the kickoff. Let's go down to Jerem.
Baylor and Gunnar Romney had a unique upbringing road to BYU. They grew up in Colonia Juarez in the Mormon colonies in Mexico. Their dad still works down there, owns a chili pepper farm. They moved to El Paso about 3.5 hours away so that Baylor could be recruited. He ends up signing with Nevada out of high school, transfers to BYU, and Gunnar Romney and the family had moved to Chandler, Arizona. Gunner's a big-time receiver. Baylor says, hey, I want to play with Gunnar. Last year they connected for the first TD pass between brother-to-brother, quarterback to receiver. They still throw 3 to 4 times a week during the offseason.
And next season they'll have an opportunity to build on that number a lot with Romney to Romney. 49-7. Here come the Lions. Play action. This is over the middle. Thrown a little bit behind the intended receiver as Blake Deaver returns as quarterback for North Alabama. It'll be second down and 10.
And Andre Little, he was there. He was open. The backers had come up to fill on the play action run play, and so that space was there. The ball just needed to be out in front. And for Little, remember, he just needed 23 yards to hit that 1,000-yard mark. And Blake Deaver, you can see 7 of 15, 81 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions in that first half.
Second and 10, now everyone in position, ready to go to work. 3-man rush. Now here comes pressure, and Deaver is not much of a runner. Eludes it initially and fires a shot down the sideline. And a spectacular grab will be just shy of the first down. We got to take another look at this.
The touch on this throw was great. So I don't even know how he got out of there. He was on top of his own guy, and it's almost like BYU's guys thought he was down and gave up on it. But the touch on the throw at the end was really nice. Just over the underneath coverage, dropped it in, and pretty good presence to get that 1 foot down you need in college football.
Now it's Howell on the run for a yard, trying to get around that left end. Yeah, what a simple, short play, but a spectacular one for North Alabama. Second down and 9. Talking about BYU's depth, and we'll see a lot of guys here over the next hour and a half. And Coach Sataki telling us when he got here, he looked at what he had and he said, okay, we got to build depth, but it's going to take years, not months.
Right,
because now in year 5, he's got it.
Mission program and all of those things that happen at BYU, unique to BYU, you cannot rebuild in 2 or 3 years like you can other places.
Little razzle-dazzle. BYU in position to knock it down. Driggers. Check that. Andre Little on the run. He gets 7. Brings up 3rd down.
Little razzle-dazzle. The fake dive, the fake screen, and then they hand it on the reverse. And
Jackson Kafusi making the tackle.
And right now, BYU, their entire group, new guys in the secondary, not starters. Second backers are all in there, second D-line. And I suspect on the D-line, they'll still just be rotating some guys through there because they regularly rotate 2 groups in there.
3rd down and 2. And they'll run it straight into that defense. Held up initially, and then the extra effort got enough for the 1st down. Hard-nosed running by Howell, and he signals 1st down.
An excellent run because he was stopped a good 2 yards short in the backfield and just kept driving those feet. And Juwan Howell, that's his 9th carry in this game. Been tough yards to get. 16 yards, but none more important than that one.
Keeps the drive alive.
For BYU, I mean, having all these guys play, this is a different situation. Sometimes you get in, you're back up, and you're only getting in for a few plays or at the very end. To have where the coach says, listen, we're putting you out there and you're going to play, and you know you're going to get a half of reps. You can really settle in and start to play. These are really, really valuable reps for BYU's depth right now.
1st down. And whistle stop the play immediately. This will back the Lions up 5 yards. Kalani said,
false start. Number 11, offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Kalani said he's the only return missionary head football coach in the history of BYU, and his experience kind of taught him, as we look at the movement there on the right end, his experience taught him they've got to rethink the whole return missionary thing, and that too is a process that's taken a while.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, he said that they started to look at the data, and the percentage of return missionaries that get hurt in their 1st year back is ridiculously high. And he said we've got to get a buffer at that. We've got to bring these kids back. They've got to have a full year. So now the program basically builds in a year for these guys to get their bodies back in shape to be able to play and avoid injury.
Attacking that right side, Cortez Hall. Good gain on 1st down. It'll be 2nd down and short. Tyler Batty's an example of a gray shirt, a kid that got home, and they said, no, don't come back and play right away. You got to take your time, unwind.
Get in the weight room, get back in school, get things figured out, and then we'll have you go through a full spring ball, and then you'll be ready to play next year. And we've seen him, and even with that, he's got a minor injury. He should be back for San Diego State, but Kalani says they've really learned to manage it. But when you do it that way, it's going to be year 5 before you've got depth and you got juniors and seniors.
Big hit by Willis. That'll drop the receiver short of the 1st down by a yard. It's a gain of 3. Bring up 3rd down and 1.
And that was Driggers on the outside. Good throw on the move that time. And just a good play to prevent the 1st down by Willis to come up and close.
3rd down and 1. Some guys downfield calling for the ball, but the fight in the trenches is where that play was. And now here comes another one. Out of the huddle quickly.
Quarterback is out at wide receiver.
And Driggers is going to take the snap. He often runs out of this. And here he goes. He's the leading rusher on the team. Picks up the 1st down. Dances inside the 40-yard line. Parker Driggers, a redshirt freshman, picks up 8 yards on 3rd and 1.
Well, and they send the quarterback out as the wide receiver on the right. They have an extra back up inside blocking. Driggers really good with the ball in his hands at reading the defense and knowing where to cut and to set up blocks. They love using them in this situation, but well designed. So they fake to the back and then use the back as a lead blocker. It gives you an extra head in the backfield. And you take the quarterback out at wide receiver, and now you got an advantage inside.
6 minutes to go here in the 3rd. Deaver Steps up. Room in front of him. He slides in safely at the 33.
I want to see Blake Deaver just truck somebody. I mean, that's a big guy. Look at that guy.
It's like a Roethlisberger out there, especially with that vest.
He's 6'3", 257. He's as big as some of their offensive linemen they have in the program. So, yeah, I'd like to see him just get going and just truck somebody.
Chris Willis says, yeah, he's not a great runner, but they really love his arm strength.
Yeah, he's got great arm strength, a lot of arm talent.
2nd down and 6. Driggers out at the 31. Gain of 2. That's really been their only offense. It's just the little pass over the middle for 5 or 6 yards. Jerem.
Alabama offensive lineman Kadonis Haslam is the son of longtime Miami Heat forward Udonis Haslam, who announced this week he's going to return for an 18th season with the Heat. Understandably, Udonis missed a lot of Kadonis' career, but he didn't miss the state championship game when he was in high school. In fact, he asked Pat Riley, can I miss this? And he said, yeah, absolutely. Flew down to Orlando, saw him win this championship, flew back to Chicago, and joined the team.
And we anticipate he's watching here today on BYU TV. On 3rd down, trouble right from the start. Tuioti Mariner just devours Deaver for a big loss.
Now, and it mishandled the snap. It was going to be trouble to begin with because BYU was bringing the blitz. And so had he caught that clean, I don't know that the result is any different, but it certainly made it worse that he had to pick the ball up off the ground.
Loss of 7 and the first sack for the junior out of Topeka, Kansas this season. Offense going to stay out on the field. Looking at 4th down and 11. We talked about it earlier. Most of this team has never even been out west. And so to see the mountains today and to play in this setting, really been special. As the head coach described to us, they are happy they are here. More pressure and another sack. And it's the same story. Tuioti Mariner, back-to-back sacks, a loss of 8 yards, and BYU takes over on downs.
Yeah, and Tuioti Mariner coming off of that right edge, just turning the corner and engulfing the quarterback, Blake Deaver.
49-7, BYU with the ball when we come back on BYU TV.
Sometimes people watch a movie while they're in flight. Others like to read a book, take a nap.
There's BYU fans everywhere. And by Deseret First Credit Union. You know why. We show how.
It is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. No snow around here, which has been nice. Basketball season starts Wednesday here on BYU TV. Cougars and Westminster. See that one live at 8 Eastern time. New Orleans is here Thanksgiving night. That's at 9 Eastern on BYU TV. Utah Valley is here in Provo next Saturday night, also on BYU TV. It's going to be interesting over at the Marriott Center. No fans as we start, and that'll be different for us as we call games in a venue that's always rocking. And we'll see how they dress that up and what it's like. We'll all find out together on Wednesday night.
Yeah, and this, these teams this year, the ones that have been successful, have figured out a way to bring their own energy. You got it manufactured inside yourself. You got to have a great sideline, all of that. It'll be interesting to see how basketball goes because home court advantage in basketball is a huge thing.
There goes Fanua. Big run for a first down.
Think about how intimidating a sold-out house is at the Marriott Center, and it has been over the years to give team energy. And it's just that cutback lane. Man, we've seen BYU's running backs run that all year long. They wash the defensive front down the line of scrimmage to the right. And if you don't keep an end cap on that, on the defensive side, have somebody stay home, you run that cutback.
Now the Lion is down as he's attended to. We'll take a break. 49-7 BYU here on BYU TV. We'll break down this game, set the stage for San Diego State, which is December 12th, a few weeks from now. David Nixon, Blaine Fowler, and myself will show you what worked and what didn't and why. After further review, Tuesday nights on the BYU TV app, BYUtv.org, and Saturday mornings on BYU TV. We got a lot going next week. It's going to be a fun week.
Yep. 3 basketball games, AFR, Sports Nation every day. I mean, it's a big week.
First down, BYU at the 37. And Romney took a look and then headed upfield, picks up a first down. Running that option play with Miles Davis. And Blaine, what's interesting, we see this on AFR all the time, is he's watching what to decide whether to pitch or whether to go.
They leave the man on the end of the line of scrimmage, whether it's a backer or defensive end, unblocked. And then Romney's just reading that one guy. And if that guy gets too wide, he'll cut it up inside. If the guy comes down to take the quarterback, he pitches it out to the running back.
First down at the 26. Miles Davis, a freshman out of Las Vegas, into the game now for BYU. Got a lot of speed. Fun to see him in the open field. Here comes the blitz. Romney sees it, drops it off to Davis. And Davis is inside the 20 to the 19. Jerem.
Devontae Tolles for North Alabama is having his left ankle retaped. He came out a moment ago, still limping noticeably on the sideline, but he is being attended to.
It'll be a long flight for a lot of these guys that have taken big hits today as they return to Florence, Alabama. This is a gain of 7. The offseason awaits North Alabama. Then they'll have one more year to go, and then they can show up in the Big South and compete for a championship.
Yeah, that's a hard thing. When you make that transition, you're not eligible for postseason for all 4 years for these guys, and it'll be great when they can compete.
This is Epps, another freshman with speed, has a first down. Brought down at the 11, a gain of 8. Nate Reed, right out of Florence, Alabama, making the tackle.
And Epps is a guy that has a bright future, a lot of speed at that wide receiver position for Epps, and you can get him the ball out in the open field and you can run away from people. You look at that first downs for BYU, 25 plays. They're averaging 10.6 yards on first down. Of course, a couple of big bombs came on first down. That helps that average a little bit.
Absolutely. Here comes the blitz. Snap goes through Romney's legs, and he dives on it. It's a big loss, but well-timed defensive play right at the snap.
I want to see that again. I've never seen better timing than that. I don't know how he came that far without being past the line of scrimmage before the snap. It certainly threw off the center.
And now there's a
in the neutral zone at the snap.
Yeah, I'm like that.
5-yard penalty.
It wasn't such good timing after all, right? I'm like, what in the world? Like, he was in the backfield. Take a look. He's past the line. He was past the center. That's why.
What was amazing is we didn't see one flag on the field.
Yeah, and that's why the snap was off. Connor Pay was a little distracted because the guy ran by him before he snapped the ball.
Yeah, that is illegal. So now it's at the 6-yard line. First down. They can pick up a first down again at the 1. Give this to Davis. And Davis is going to take it in for his first career BYU touchdown. Out of Las Vegas High School. Miles Davis, 6 yards in, and it's 55-7.
And the start of what may be many touchdowns for Miles Davis as a senior. He's a guy that had over 1,000 yards in receptions his senior year in high school. Good guy at catching the ball. Las Vegas High School, first team All-State. And they moved him over to running back. He played a bunch of wide receiver in high school.
A lot of good athletes coming out of Las Vegas. Think of Kai Nakua and what he brought to that BYU defense over all those years. Davis, another Las Vegan in the BYU program. Jared.
On that play, Hank Tuipulotu had a nice block on the edge at tight end. His dad, Peter, of course, beloved running back in the 80s and 90s. One of about 10 Cougars in the 1,000-yard rushing and receiving club. And he has not one, not two, but 3 sons on the team, guys. Hank and Ben are tight ends. Petey's a cornerback. Hank plays some. You saw that on that. In fact, it's almost a miracle he's on the field. He's had not one but 2 ACL tears, one on each knee the last couple of years. And in addition to the Tuipulotus, there are 3 other sets of brothers that we'd like to talk about. Baylor and Gunnar Romney, we've mentioned Isaiah and Jackson Kafusi. And Zach Wilson's younger brother, Josh, is a freshman linebacker as well. It really is a band of brothers.
Absolutely. Makes it a lot of fun. Livens up the dinner table for sure.
Well, and you want to know what? If you've got families that have a bunch of athletes, Genetically, they keep it in the family, right? Hey, let's face it, the Kafusis can play, right? All of the Kafusis can play, and obviously the Romneys can play too.
And there's another Romney coming.
And there's a Romney that may be the best of them all. That's a linebacker that's coming. We know the Tuipulotu family is full of athletes.
Well, we've learned in recruiting, if the big brother's pretty good and the younger brother is outstanding, you recruit the big brother.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and sometimes they just keep getting better as they go down the line, and Tuipulotu not only was a Pete running back here, Tom, their uncle, was a running back.
The hits just keep coming. 56-7, BYU here on BYU TV.
Mountain America Credit Union, guiding you forward. And by Les Olson Company, your office technology partner.
Welcome back. Short run on first down for a gain of a yard. Max Tooley on the tackle. As we are in the fourth quarter. BYU ranked number 8 in the country. Number 7, Cincinnati, is leading Central Florida 19-17 at halftime. Then you look behind BYU, number 10, Wisconsin, is down 14-7 at Northwestern in the third quarter. And then behind them, number 11, Oregon, in a dogfight, up by 3 in the third quarter against UCLA. So could turn out to be a very interesting late afternoon in college football.
And Cincinnati, that Central Florida team's got talent all over the field, and it's down at Central Florida.
Yeah.
So that's a big test for Cincinnati. And if they win that one, they strengthen their argument for a college football playoff type of a
equivalent of BYU going to Boise State.
Right. It's very similar. Very similar, except for Boise State was ranked and UCF isn't. But UCF has been a traditionally great a football team and a group of 5.
Third down and 2. Files is back in at quarterback, over the middle. And a nice outstretched grab by Andre Little for a first down into BYU territory at the 41, a gain of 21.
It was a really, really nice catch, but also an excellent throw. And that's that, we call that two deep look, where you got underneath coverage, where the corner is in the flat, and then the safety's coming over the top. You got to throw that ball flat in there before the safety gets there. And before Malik Moore could get there, the ball was delivered. That was a good throw.
With a good look at Rhett Files. 11 of 16, 116 yards. He was picked off to start the second half. Here he is under some pressure. Finds his tight end, Corson Swan. Swan's had a busy afternoon. Harper tackles him, but not before a first down and a gain of 12.
Well, Files has been impressive. He led a very impressive drive there in the second quarter. He's looked again good again here, very poised in the pocket, delivering underneath throws, methodically working down. And wait, did that ball not come out?
BYU isn't challenging. And resuming from the 29 and a first down. Price in motion. Files looking over the middle, tipped up into the air. Falls incomplete. It's the third time a BYU lineman has batted down a pass today.
And that pocket pressuring inside makes it tough for the quarterback to get over the top. And these are big guys, both of these guys, 6'4", both quarterbacks for North Alabama.
North Alabama has a man down at the 31 while he's being attended to. We'll step aside. 56-7 here in the fourth on BYU TV.
They say the best gift is a memory.
56-7, 12:24 to play here this afternoon. Coming up, as soon as we're finished, Spencer Linton, David Nixon, Mitch Matthews will recap today's game, highlights, analysis. We'll have interviews and go deep into the afternoon on our big day of BYU football here on BYU TV. Second down, lob to the end zone, and a spectacular grab for a touchdown. And that's Jacoby Byrd 29 yards, his second touchdown on the season.
And Jacoby Byrd, how about this catch? And great throw as well. Adjusting to the football. He got on top of the defender, and then watch how he just shields the defender with his body. Steps in front, adjusts to the football. What a great catch by Jacoby Byrd. Byrd, of these 4 receivers we've been talking about, Byrd with the most receptions career, came into this game with 102 for almost 1,200 yards.
Extra point, Contorno, and it's 56-14.
Ninth touchdown pass career for Jacoby Byrd.
How about this grab? And for Files, his 3rd touchdown pass of the year. Back with more in a moment.
At Intermountain Healthcare, we understand that broken arms haven't stopped. Babies continue to be born. Emergencies continue to happen. And
BYU football on BYU TV is brought to you by Mountain America Credit Union, guiding you forward, and by Les Olson Company, your office technology partner.
Join us for the Offensive and Defensive Coordinators Corner, Monday, 1 Eastern Time, on the BYU TV app. Jeff Grimes, Elisa Tuiaki break down today and set course for what is ahead, whether or not BYU adds a game or it's December 12th for the very first football game in Lavelle Edwards Stadium in the month of December. San Diego State.
Can we get a day like today?
I wish.
This is amazing. When we looked at this game on the schedule, even before everything got changed, because remember, this was North Alabama was always going to come play.
Here's Christensen, looking for a little room up the middle, gets to the 25.
The week before Thanksgiving, 50 degrees and gorgeous. Are you kidding me? This is great. Snow-capped mountains as a backdrop. Man.
Been spectacular. Jerem.
From 1993 to 1995, the North Alabama Lions won 3 straight Division II national championships, culminating in the only Division II team to ever visit the White House, guys. They went 14-0 in 95. That gets you to the White House when you go for a 3-pair, right? They visited Bill Clinton, and they are the only D2 team ever to get the invite to the White House.
How about that? What a great picture. Baylor Romney. Try to answer that touchdown from North Alabama as we resume here in Provo. A long ways from the White House and a long ways from the glory years of North Alabama. They're in a new game now. Now it's
stepping up.
Stiffer competition and a lot of challenges ahead. Here's Romney on the rollout and takes a sack. Will Evans drops Baylor Romney for a big loss.
And that's one of those ones where when you get out there and you recognize that there's nobody open and he's got the pressure, at some point you just go at the feet of the receiver. So you just throw it out of bounds at the feet of the receiver and you avoid the loss. The tough part is he's rolling to his left, so to get that thing off, he waited a little bit too long, and now you're at risk for injury if you expose that shoulder. So a little bit earlier, just get that thing out of there and come back to play on the next down.
Loss of 6, back to the 19. And they'll give it to Fanua, who'll get the 6 back. Brought down at the 27. Evans, back-to-back tackles. Our Scorebox sponsor is presented by Brady Industries, supplies and service for cleaning and food service professionals. Brady Industries, honestly better, and they have been a long-time supporter of BYU TV Sports, our friends out of Las Vegas, and we appreciate having them with us in just about everything we do.
We got some great players that BYU's recruited out of Vegas and some great sponsors that have helped us with BYU TV out of Las Vegas.
3rd down and 8. Romney drops it off to Fanua. Needs a block. Can't get it. And BYU's going to have to punt the ball away. And this has been the Will Evans series for North Alabama's defense.
Make it every play.
So Rico is going to come in and have the opportunity to kick it to the moon if he can. And Fagans is back for North Alabama. So good defensive stand by the Lions. BYU's possessions, 8 touchdowns, 2 punts in their 10 possessions. This one goes a mile high and caught at the 20 by Jack Peavy. So North Alabama will get another shot to make something happen. 9:51 to play. 56-14 Cougars here on BYU TV. A 49-yard punt.
Every structure.
Al, you get a nice payday getting one of those big bowls, and as an independent, you don't have to share. There's no family members to share it with.
Exactly right. So you get a big stipend for travel as well. So you get a big payout, a big travel stipend.
Hey, in a pandemic year.
And I think, I don't know where we'll be in terms of fans in those games.
Yeah.
Because that may be a moot point, but a lot of interest in that Metro Phoenix area for BYU.
It's a conversation BYU just hasn't been in as an independent. And they're in it now as Bird, nowhere to go after that catch. Scratches out a yard. Tanavasa and Tavika Gagne on the tackle for BYU.
It was interesting because early, when things started to go south with the COVID pandemic and everybody trying to figure out what they were going to do with college football, people were going, see, this is going to kill BYU because they don't have a league to take care of them. And in the end, BYU's flexibility as an independent and Tom Holmoe's ability to go out there and get games proved to be huge for BYU. This is the best year ever to be an independent, and BYU has proven that.
And a springboard in the next season when BYU gets back to a normal, tough schedule with some preseason hype, as Files is dropped after a couple-yard loss. Caden Haas on the pursuit. But now you start the season, you're not trying to get in the top 25, you're in the top 25.
Yeah. And people will say, well, they're losing Zach Wilson. If Zach was on the draft, if he's a first rounder, heck, he should go, right?
Yeah.
He should go. But BYU is very solid in terms of their depth at quarterback. Between Romney and Hall and Jacob Conover, who nobody's even talking about because he's just back running the prep squad, but he's a big-time player. They are stocked at the quarterback position. They get everybody else back around that quarterback. He's going to be very good next year.
Nyberg from the 28. Trying to get around that corner and is dropped. We'll see Nyberg on the baseball team this spring here on BYU TV.
And what BYU's done now is they've just stockpiled people up front on the offensive and defensive lines, and they're going to need deeper on the D-line next year with some injured guys coming back. And so BYU will match up with anybody in the country up front again next year. And hey, you get Romney back at wide receiver, and Dax Milne back, and Isaac Rex back.
Neil Palu back.
Yeah, and
Tyler Algier back.
A bunch of guys on that defensive side of the ball as well. So. And Kalani told us on our call the other day, Dave, that they knew they were going to be good this year and thought they'd be very good next year.
Here's Davis with a little daylight up the middle. Right to midfield. 21 yards for Davis. Creighton pulls him down. And the freshman getting a chance to show off what he can do.
Well, and you see a little bit of that speed. He came out of Las Vegas High as not just a football player, but a track star. Ran the 200 meters and the 400 meters, and known for great speed. We see some of it there getting down the field.
Right at midfield and in the sunshine. Romney's going to go right back to Davis. Tried to shift gears and went down at the line of scrimmage for no gain.
He hit that patch of shade. He came out of the sun into the shade, and he slipped on the shade.
What was they learning Lion King? Never run to the shadows.
Yeah.
Stay out of the shadows. Nothing good happens over there.
He was in the sun. He got into the shade, and then he couldn't make the cut. Should have stayed. Just stay over in the sun.
6.5 to go. BYU cruising to 9-0. Hard to believe in this pandemic year that BYU is about to finish its 9th football game. We've been so fortunate. It's been a nice diversion from the cold realities of COVID. Romney thought about it again, and then gets hit by Will Evans, who's having the second half of his life, a gain of 3.
Yeah, Evans has been, it seems like you call his name every 2 out of every 3 plays. It's been Evans on the play. Just playing like a crazy man over there on the defensive side.
He's the leading tackler on the field for both teams, Will Evans. Has 7 tackles. I think they've all been in the last 10 minutes. 3rd down now for Baylor Romney. Sione Finau into the game for BYU. Romney steps up and takes off and dives for the first down. Had to get just shy of the 40. He got to the 40.
And he knew
Picks up 7.
And that was a heads-up play. Great situational awareness. He took off with it, and he spotted where he needed to go. So he didn't slide. He knew he had to cross that 40-yard line. He saw enough space he thought he could get there, but no sliding here. He knows exactly where he needs to get to and picks up that first down.
Now they'll set it up with a new set of downs at the 40. And it is Finau. Nothing there as he looked around the corner. Fights for a couple maybe. Containment pretty good on the outside by North Alabama. Lyden Harris, a senior out of Jasper, Alabama, is down on his stomach. For number 31 here, he made the hit and stayed down.
Lyndon Harris, the safety that's down. Big collision.
He's rolling over, which is a good sign. You know, you go back when BYU has played top 10 programs, and those seem to be the games where they sustained the nicks and bruises against much bigger players, and it just seemed to happen to them all the time until they had to get as big and as strong. It took a while, and it'll take this North Alabama team. Recruiting is going very well, according to Chris Willis, better than they thought it would, but it's going to take a while for them to get up to the size of the level they're moving to in the Big South.
Boy, and good to see Lyndon Harris up and moving around. And yeah, this has been a game where we've seen a number of players down, and fortunately this is last game for this Lions football team. They have a chance now to get healthy and have another spring ball.
First time they've ever faced a ranked FBS team. And on the grabs, Chris Jackson picks up 2. Bring up another third down for BYU. Nate Reed wrestling his knee down to the ground. We near 4 minutes, 56-14. BYU did exactly what they had to do today.
Go out, be impressive, and think about it. They did this where a bunch of the starters, they just sat them down here for the entire second half and gave them the role to signal plays in and do all that and support these other guys. A lot of valuable reps for these 2s and 3s and even some 4s in this football game.
Romney intended for Wheat and went through Wheat's hands, but I think that defender may have gotten his eye line. Fagans, take a look here. Just got through.
Just through, and just enough of a distraction. Pressure coming, and Romney taking a hit right afterward. Ball takes off just a little bit, but I think you're right. I think that the hand was just enough to distract. And here comes Oldroyd to try to stay perfect.
53-yard attempt. He's 9 for 9 on the year. Ball is down, on its way, and he has got it. Now 10 for 10, a Mountain America field goal. For every field goal BYU makes this season, Mountain America will donate $250 to the American Red Cross. He's a 3.72 GPA major in accounting.
Grab, I lost you.
He'll make it 3 out of 5 times. That significantly changes your approach. Right? Even if it's 3 for 5, but right now Jake Oldroyd in 50-yard attempts, and I'm doing math in my head, I should probably look at the stats before I say this. I want to say his percentage is up around 80% make when they've attempted from, beyond 45 yards.
Yeah. Very comforting as a head coach to have that in your arsenal. That hasn't been used this year yet. It's very comforting.
59-14. BYU in front by 45 over North Alabama. And we welcome those of you that have been watching Dave and Blaine on BYU TV. I'm Spencer Linton here with Mitch Matthews and David Nixon, hanging out during our second screen experience. So to give you a little bit of a taste of what we've been doing here, we've been running polls, live statistics, live updates, fan interaction. We've had a good time doing it and been able to open up the conversation to everything from, is Taysom Hill going to get a win in his first NFL start as the New Orleans Saints quarterback, to where does BYU fit in the national rankings, the national conversation, to how important it is a moment ago to have a kicker that's good from 53 yards. So we've enjoyed the liberties of this conversation today.
Yeah, it's really fun. It's really fun to dive in and almost allow yourself to go on tangents and talk about things that people really want to hear you talk about. It's been fun. It's been fun to analyze these players, and they've come out, especially on offense, and had such a great game. It's been fun to watch.
Another turnover on the quarterback keeper. And look at Uriah Leatawa coming there and forced the fumble, recovered by Micah Harper.
And that's a great job right there by Leatawa, where understated tracking the running back. And then when he comes out to the edge, you see him expose the ball, you go rake the ball out. And then, of course, you got your buddies that are flying around. They come up with the recovery and puts BYU back in business.
Here is a look at Soljae Maiava-Peters for the first time, BYU's third quarterback of the game. And Soljae with some valuable experience here late in the game. I know there's only 2:43 on the clock, but Kalani Sitake told us at halftime, look, I want to get as many guys as I can on the field. There's a handoff to Miles Davis, who breaks free, and he's into the end zone. Miles Davis with some electric footwork there, and BYU takes a 65-14 lead.
Listen, if you're Soljae, you're coming in, you're going to Klein saying, listen, I'm 1 for 1 at the quarterback for a touchdown. Put me in, coach. But no, great job by BYU and the surge this offensive line provided. And then, of course, Davis takes care of the rest, gets into the end zone.
His second touchdown of the game, and his efficiency at running back skyrocketing right now.
Even though they're just playing North Alabama here, you'll start to see Miles Davis get more and more and more reps and gain the trust of the coaches. Even if it's just at this point in the game, 66-14 now, you'll start to see him get more and more reps. He looks strong. He looks powerful.
So North Alabama has now surrendered a program most 66 points. Again, they gave up 61 to Montana last year. They've now given up 66 to BYU, an FCS program on the road in Provo late November. And the Cougars, with the late touchdown after the turnover by Miles Davis, make it 66.
Let me say this about Miles Davis and about all these young guys getting playing time right now. This is big time for your psyche as well. So we talk about the game reps, how it is for experience-wise to build upon. But these are kids that are out there most likely on the practice squad. And they're taking their lumps and their bumps day in and day out, kind of giving looks to the starting offense and starting defense. And now you give them opportunities in a game-like situation in front of their family to go out there and produce, and you find the end zone. It's huge because that provides that whole excitement, that provides the boost you need when you go to practice next week and when you go into the offseason. You remember what it feels like to find the end zone. And I think that's the exciting part for some of these young guys, finally getting to experience what it feels like to make big plays, cause turnovers, and of course put some points on the board.
Power's been restored back up here in the booth. 66-14, most points for BYU since they routed Wagner in 2015, 70-6. We wanted to actually have those guys do something downstairs.
That's right. Keep them going down there.
It's like Zach Wilson. We took ourselves out of the game, and only we're back in, and he's not coming back in. But How about that touchdown run? You know, a lot of time this week people have said, oh, BYU's too big of a favorite. They'll never cover that number.
Yeah.
And a lot of Las Vegans and everybody involved in that are watching that number, and on that touchdown by Davis, they did.
Yeah, they covered it. And isn't it funny how, I don't know what those guys know down there, but when they set those lines, it's always right there. We're waiting to the end of the game. They typically, not every time, but they know what they're doing. They do their research.
They know things.
Yes, they do.
2:36 to play. And Soljay Mayava was the quarterback on that last possession. First time we've seen him in a while this season. The third string quarterback. And of course, BYU scored touchdowns on all 3 turnovers today by North Alabama. And they come in, you know, a Goliath type challenge to begin with, but you give up 21 points and you're going to have a bad day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And BYU cashing in those turnovers up to 66. And a lot of young guys, younger guys than the young guys that start, have enjoyed this second half out on the field. So what do you think happens now between today and December 12th with San Diego State?
Honestly, I thought that if BYU, because Kalani's basically laid out, hey, if we're going to play another game, you know, he's asked Tom to give him a week to prepare. So I feel like they need to know now, or at the latest tomorrow, if they were going to play next Saturday. Next Saturday's the game I thought they might fill in. I think they'd like to have that week before the San Diego State game. And
could never get Army to come back.
No, and that's a shame. And Kalani pointed out, as we visited with him, you know, some people are saying, hey, BYU wouldn't. He goes, BYU wouldn't what? We'll play anybody. Like, we've been trying to get games, he said, all along since the beginning of the year. And he goes, we can't get people to come. You know, Army wouldn't come and reschedule. And he says, so it's not us. We'll play anybody. And to Zach Wilson's headband, any team, anytime, any place.
Over the middle. Nice pass in the first down. And then the Pac-12 comes out all of a sudden and says, hey, we'll play non-conference games. And
the list of things you have to do to play non-conference.
You can break into Fort Knox, steal all the gold easier than you can qualify for whatever the Pac-12 has dreamt up.
The Pac-12 has been a disaster this year with handling this whole thing. And so they came out and said, wow, you know, we've had so many games canceled, perhaps, you know, we've allowed these guys to play non-league games. But a couple of the restrictions are that it has to be at the Pac-12 site,
right,
which would be fine for BYU, right? Houston said we can't come up there, and BYU said fine, we'll come down there. And they went, okay. And so that's not a problem. But then you have to adopt their testing policy, which BYU doesn't agree with their testing policy. BYU feels like they're using the most accurate system in testing these guys 3 times a week.
And it's worked.
And they feel like it's more accurate than the one that the Pac's using, so they don't want to trade what they're doing. And the Pac-12 team gets an out right up until Thursday. If any other Pac-12 team comes available, then your game's canceled and they go to play somebody else, and you're out as of Thursday. So,
no way.
Yeah. So BYU's not going to play a Pac-12 team. I can tell you that.
Our final score, as Zach Wilson in 2 quarters puts on another show and leads BYU to a 66-14 win over North Alabama.
They did what they had to do. I felt like they came right out and played well. And for these Lions of North Alabama, I think they accounted themselves well. This is a good experience for them. This is going to be a good team next year, having played a bunch when their whole division's hardly playing.
And they could use today's paycheck to help them continue with their building. Post-game shows coming up next. Spencer, David, and Mitch, and Jerem. And we'll actually pop in on that thing as well, with interviews and highlights, analysis as our coverage rolls on. It's a Super Saturday on BYU TV, and the Cougars do their part. 66-14, BYU beats North Alabama.